to the chase, where dissent's a thrill. Ben and John are here, making time stand still. Diving deep where others just pretend. They're your guides on this journey. Chasing dissent, dissent. Chasing dissent, where truth's the quest. Ben and John won't give it a rest. In a maze of facts, they find their way, bringing the dawn of a clearer day. They laugh, they probe, they take no sides. Rabbit holes, they take their strides. Bring the answer, they are heaven sent. Ben and John chasing dissent. Chasing dissent.
Good evening, people, and welcome to another day of election debates. Good to see you all G'd up and desperate to hear our friends at number 10 and the Minister of the Opposition. Anyway, let me add the screen here. Good grief! The battle for number 10, a Sky News special. Aren't we desperate to see this? Yes. Bear with me while I just resize it for your viewing delight. I would have done it earlier, but I couldn't be bothered. So that's that. There we go. Resized. It covers Rishi's horrible rat-like face. We can still see the toolmaker title. So if you got your bingo cards ready, I have prepared a wheel of destiny. And I think, what are we going to see first? Any bets in the comments? Any bets in the comments for what's going to come up first? Let's have a quick look at the Wheel of Luck and see what we think is coming up first. Spin it. Come on, spin. Spin, damn you all. And they think it's going to be... Whoa! We didn't have Sky. Now that's a complete outsider. I don't know if we're going to get... We didn't have Sky from Rishi Sunak. But, hey, you never know. We might. It's going to be worth a look. There we go. Wheel of Luck says it's going to be we didn't have Sky. Right, what's going on here? These people still mucking around.
Vote for. Well, this is your perfect chance to see them up close.
Volume check, can you hear them okay?
In the most meaningful sense, they'll be answering questions, they'll be explaining themselves, and they'll be articulating their vision. So if you want a direct comparison, this is it. And there's one more thing that I want to say before we get cracking. It's easy to think that this is an election campaign without much jeopardy. A campaign where we already know the outcome. But there is an awful lot of jeopardy tonight. For Rishi Sunak, it's one of his last chances to turn things around and to save his election campaign. And for Keir Starmer, well, frankly, it's his to lose. If Labour's strategy has been to carefully carry that Ming vase across the floor, well, tonight, he's got to get through 45
How's that? Can you hear the scum media now?
Will he manage it? And of course, the big question, who will come out on top?
Yes, who will come out on top?
Here in Grimsby and Cleethorpes, and just to warn you, there are some flashing images to come as well.
Yeah, I tell you who's coming out on top.
A short time
We
ago,
are coming out on
the
top.
set, the Labour leader said he's looking forward to tonight, and he talked about the work that he's done.
Great to see him jumping out an Indian car. I would have expected more from Rishi Sunak, though. I thought he might have come out an Indian car.
Joins us now.
A bit more? Good God, Shalini, are you deaf?
The question, Sophie, is will
Is this guy impersonating
define
Sunak?
the election campaign? Here we are at the halfway point, more or less, to July the 4th. And there's been a lot of frenetic activity over the first few weeks, but this is a moment.
Yeah,
with
okay,
extended
shut
interviews
up.
and with questions from a...
Shut up. Right, so they're going to be doing some kind of 20 minutes from each of them. Bloody hell. 20 minutes from Keir Starmer. Oh, good grief. 20 minutes from each of them, and I'm relying on you. I'm relying on you guys. Well, turn your telly up, Shalini. Turn your telly up. Oh, you get out an Indian car as well. And the little boy came out an Indian car. Did you see? I'm surprised they didn't have a stepladder there to help him down. That's a big jump for such a little man. But yeah, so he's come out they both come out Indian cars. Because Range Rovers aren't British anymore. Well, I don't think we've got anything left, have we? Have we got anything left? The Mini's German, built by BMW. Germany has taken over the world eventually. It took them a bit longer than maybe they thought, come the 30s, but hey, we got there. This guy talks like a robot, so I don't really want to listen to him. I can't stand him. And why is he wearing that stupid microphone thing? He looks like... Oh, he's taken it out his ear, that's what he's done. He looks like Britney Spears, except he looks nothing like Britney Spears and nowhere near as attractive. Yes, you probably are taller than Rishi Sunak, my dear Shalini. It's good to see you there. Who else have we got in the chat? Beats and Tapes. Robin. Excellent, Robin. Dread Eye, a bit quiet. Yeah, we were. But I think we're okay now. I think I'm okay. Forget them, but as long as I'm okay. Who else we got? Shalini, Dread Eye and Julie. Julie, yeah. Okay. There we go. So let's see what the more attractive version of the presenters was saying there. I missed that.
At 7:30 with a forensic interview from Beth Rigby, and then of course the audience Q&A as well. Well, it's worth
they're having a freaking laugh, aren't they? A forensic interview from Beth Rigby.
Conservative for the first time since
hold on.
World War in 2019.
Wait a minute, they can't hear you.
Under Boris Johnson.
Right, there you go. Look, he's turned up. He's fashionably late.
Hello there, Prime Minister. It's me, Beth Rigby. How are you doing? Are you okay today?
Hello and welcome to a special edition
of
the
good God.
Mute that a second. Right?
Yeah, I just have. See, I read your mind. I just knew they were going to mute that because they're annoying, these people. They're really annoying.
I've got something to ask you people, right? So today, well, last night, I want you guys to help me get your head.
Oh, spit it out, for freak's sake. You sound like a robot. We've already had one guy doing that.
I'm setting something up here.
Oh, yeah, okay. Set it up, hurry up and set it up then.
So last night, we got a little message through the app from the school that said, okay, we're having a political VIP come in tomorrow. Okay, this is my kid's school. And that's all it said, right? And then Sunak's wife turned up to meet my kids.
That's not a political VIP. She's not a politician.
Why was she there?
She's not a politician.
But why was she there?
But she's not even a politician, so why was she anywhere near a school?
I don't get it.
I think you've got to ask. Has she been vetted?
I want to ask. And I think she had pictures taken with our kids.
Yeah, and that she's not a politician. She's Rishi Sunak's billionaire or millionaire wife.
But what I don't seem to understand is this. She worked with them before. She had a bunch of kids from the school up to number 10 for World Book Day and gave them a tour of number 10.
Oh, super.
But she's turned up at the school and obviously, had her promo pics with the kids and all of that. But why? What does this do for Rishi's campaign?
It doesn't do anything, mate.
Exactly. What does it do?
Oh, well, it's just her being... I'm showing support for my husband, Rishi.
I don't care.
Yeah, I know you. I don't care either, but I'm just saying
I
that's
just
what
think
it'll
it's
be.
a little bit scummy, going to use children for your photo op, other people's children, without their knowledge or consent, I might add.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if people could... Yes, Robin, we didn't even know who was coming. We weren't told who was coming. All we were told was a political VIP is turning up at the school. That is literally all that we were told.
And that was a lie.
Well, yes, it was.
Right. Where are we? So the wheel of luck has determined that the first one is going to be Rishi Sunak to call out the fact he didn't have Sky TV growing up. Do you think he'll actually say that?
Either that, or he will once again talk about his father and
Oh,
how he
well,
was
but
a
no,
pharmacist.
the wheel of luck has chosen, right? The wheel of luck has chosen that he will talk about not having Sky TV.
Oh.
His father wasn't a pharmacist. His father was a GP. His mother was a pharmacist.
His mother was a pharmacist. Yes. Sorry.
And that the wheel of luck already has that on it.
Yeah.
It has two choices for each of them.
My father was a toolmaker.
That's definitely one of them. And I think it's still the more likely to come up first. And my mother is a nurse for Sir Keir.
Are they really being interviewed by Beth Rigby? She's
Yeah.
the host. Oh, it's gonna be so boring.
Yeah, but it's a one-on-one.
But it's going to be even worse.
I know, Beth Rigby.
Beth Rigby, Beth.
Didn't the Beatles write a song about her?
Eleanor Rigby.
Beth's mother.
Your father may have been a toolmaker, Mr. Starmer, but my mother raised me.
Your mother raised you what? Wrong? Right? Upside down?
Sorry,
Hey,
I don't have enough
did you see-
personality to
Oh,
answer
yeah,
that
okay.
question.
Yeah, you probably don't. Right, okay. Where are we? What are we going to talk about? Well, these bunch are yakking.
How has it not started yet?
I need a beer. Yeah, how has it not started yet? You just got this fairly attractive
Live at
blonde bud.
7:30, so we got to kill 20 minutes.
Oh, could I come on at 7? I would have come on. You told me 7, and I
Because
thought,
that's
okay.
what it says on the fucking thing.
I rushed my
7
dinner.
o'clock.
I rushed my dinner and couldn't see the end of that Thick of It episode I was watching.
You know what, boys and girls? This is indicative of
I'm
Sky,
going-
isn't it?
So I'm going
And
to get a biscuit. I've had enough.
I'll tell you exactly why Sky TV are putting it on at 7:30, so they can run at least one advert break before it starts. That's why.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're actually being really nice to you tonight, folks. We're not running any advert breaks for you tonight. This is an ad-free broadcast, and
So if you get an ad, it's not from us.
it's not from us. We haven't placed it there. We have said to the YouTube gods, no adverts for the peasants. Thank you very much. Whether or not they listen to us, that's down to them.
Well, I don't think they can run ads if we've not monetized the show.
Well, one would hope not. Beats and Tape says, is there any winners tonight? Whoever wins, we all lose.
Yeah.
We all lose. We all lose.
Dun, 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 dun. Wait, what
Why
do we
isn't
do?
she hosting it? She's got personality.
Has she? What's her name? I don't know.
I have no idea what her name is, but
Because
look,
although it might
she
look like,
actually
according to
makes
the
you
polls,
wanna
that Keir
look and
Starmer's
listen,
cruising to a
whereas
comfortable win, there
Beth
are always
Wigby-
some tough tests on the road to Downing Street, and one of them, of course, comes tonight. We can talk now to the Shadow Health Secretary, Wes Streeting. Good to have you here in Grimsby.
there's Wes Streeting, boys and girls.
Tonight, is it?
Do you have to keep
Well,
shouting?
the great thing about
Yeah.
tonight's format is
Why?
that as well as
'Cause I
questions
feel
from
like
Beth,
it.
we also get questions from the
I'm
audience.
gonna have to turn you down.
These are the sorts of interactions Keir really enjoys, and it's a chance for us to do two things, I think. One is
Tell
to get
them that
across
his father was a
Labour's message
toolmaker.
of change and how we'll bring it about in terms of the policies. And secondly, to make sure that people get the message that the only way this country gets the change we need is if people vote for it. And I think it's been extraordinary this morning to hear a senior cabinet minister
Why can't they say-
effectively throwing the election, saying, "Oh, the
Why can't they say
Conservatives, we've got to just
extraordinary
try and stop
properly?"
this landslide Labour majority." I mean, this is a deliberate calculation to try and persuade millions of people who are undecided.
Chris Jones, I
but
just
for
don't
the whole
know.
country who haven't
I
yet
just don't know the
voted,
answer to that
Change
question.
is inevitable, and therefore you don't have to go and vote for it. And you know, our message is simple: the country needs change. We will only get that change if people vote for change by voting.
It is fair to say that the polls are pointing towards a Labour win.
They can't
right
see
now. It's on you, isn't
What do you
it,
mean they
to
can't see it?
level with
It's
people
behind the
and to
Sky
be really,
News.
really honest about what the
Yeah,
next 5
okay.
years will look like if you win.
It was
the
right, though.
election. And let's be honest, Labour talk about growth.
It
they
got-
talk about
it got
planning
it right.
reforms, but
It
are
came
you
up with
talking about
toolmaker.
the real difficult decisions that would face you if you are to win the election? Public spending cuts, tax rises.
Yeah, to be fair, we've been honest about those choices for some time. I'm regular.
Oh, shut up. Anyway, mildly attractive blonde birds lost my interest. So what we're going to talk about now for the next 20 minutes, 25, oh, for God's sake, 25 minutes?
16 minutes.
Oh,
16 minutes.
16 minutes.
Right, but
Okay.
I'm telling you, mildly attractive blonde bird would have been a much better host, because
And Beth Rigby.
I can't believe they've actually put Beth Rigby up there, and they say that she's going to give them some kind of in-depth forensic interview.
Forensic.
I mean, come on, come on. This woman. Oh, I've got the personality of stone. Okay,
Actually, I'm going to have to look something up, because what does forensic actually mean?
Okay, you look up forensic.
So let's see, what's the dictionary definition of forensic. So I'm not going to Wikipedia, because that, ladies and gentlemen, is a piece of shite. And if
Yes,
you
it is.
want to get the wrong information, you take your stuff from Wikipedia. So we'll go to the Cambridge English Dictionary. Right, forensic. Related to scientific methods of solving crimes. So we're going to be solving crimes tonight, are we, Beth? Okay. Involving examining the objects or substances that are involved in the crime. Well, I suppose she's right. I hope it is a forensic interview, because these people are all guilty of crimes, aren't they? Crimes against society, I would say. So forensic is completely the wrong fucking word to use
Yeah, but at the
for a
end,
description.
at the end of the day, you're not going to get this from Beth Rigby.
Yeah, but it's a completely wrong word to use anyway. So they're freaking nuts. They really are.
Look, they're using the
to
word
put
because
their
it
case
sounds
to you
smart.
as to why they should be your next Prime Minister.
Yeah, exactly. It might sound smart, but it's completely wrong.
That Beth's going to be sitting in one of those chairs, and then Keir and Rishi will swap for the other.
Why do we need that? Why do we need half an hour of setup? That's
The
just
audi-
pish. Why is
the
she wearing her
audience-
pajamas?
The audience don't even appear to be in the room.
She's turned up in her pajamas.
Well, I assume that this isn't live. This must have been filmed earlier.
Yeah, but
Right.
I mean, she might have put some clothes on before she appeared. She's just thrown on a pair of pumps and come out there in her jammies with a jacket on.
Yeah.
Outrageous. That's
Yeah,
like you going to Tesco.
I'll have you know, I'm actually dressing properly now to go out. I'll have you know.
That's a bonus.
I've
Like,
made-
people of Eastbourne, you can rest easy. Ben is now wearing clothes when he does his shopping.
I've made great strides. John.
Well done, well done. Okay, what's a fat bird saying?
To have you guys here. We're getting really excited, aren't we?
Oh,
so Kitty Dawson,
super excited.
Talk to me. You're from, where are you working from at the minute, Kitty?
I'm working for the newspaper and I'm the chief political commentator.
And what are you going to be,
Home
what are you gonna be
counties.
looking for from tonight?
I think I'm on gaff watch actually. I mean, today has been quite a good day for Rishi Sunak. I think he hasn't,
I'm on gaff watch.
or
Gaff watch.
Golden
Oh.
Labrador or something.
I wanna
like that.
see if they do a Biden.
I'm looking out to see what he's going to be saying to the public.
Right,
And
what's
to
this
look
simple
at
looking
Keir Starmer
gingerbird
on
gonna
tax
say?
measures. I think we need more from Keir on.
I don't know,
what
she's
his
about
tax
12,
measures are.
right?
Yeah.
Let's talk to Alva Ray next. Tell us the publication that you're working for and what you're looking out for tonight. Feel free to be as comfortable as Kitty.
Well, I'm from Bloomberg News, and
Bloomberg News.
I mean, we all love these things for how unpredictable they are, don't we?
Oh,
And I think
don't we
that's what I'm
just?
looking forward to. I
Oh.
love that you've given a really big chunk to audience questions.
What was her
That's
name?
something that Keir
Alba-
Starmer
I
did
don't
a bit better
Alba
on
Ferrer or
than Rishi
something?
Sunak
I wasn't
last
listening.
time. We know that overall, polling suggested that Rishi Sunak won that last contest, but that voters found Keir Starmer a bit more empathetic. I think it'll be interesting just with members of the public, whatever they come up with. I think there could be a few curveballs. I think that could really cut through.
Yeah, I love the chaos as well. The
She's
audience
talking
questions
like
are always
this, she's
so
doing like this.
unpredictable. They
Hello?
are actually I love the Beth interviews going to
Hello?
be brilliant, forensic.
It's 'cause she's a
It's that
horse.
kind of slight, you just never know where it's going to go.
Nay.
Forensic is not. There's no.
First thing, say where you're from and what are you looking out for?
I'm from the Daily Mail.
Of course
Daily
you are.
fail.
Keir Starmer to see whether he improves his performance from last time.
And
He
I'm
really
going to
struggled
talk like a
kind of articulate his
condescending
case last
young-
time.
Why do
Oh,
they sound so
lady.
posh?
And it's just to see whether
She's
he
from the
can
Daily
improve
Mail.
his
She shouldn't
performance
sound
from last
posh.
time,
Because
whether he
these people, these publications are all middle class.
I know,
right?
I know, I know.
I'm here to
Right,
talk down
so,
to you.
actually,
and
here's
tell you
something.
what you should think.
Whoa, did you whistle there?
I
What the hell
did,
happened?
yeah.
Yeah,
I
that wasn't
did,
good. Right, so here's the question I want to ask. I want to ask this.
Right.
So there's a lot of theories going around about a certain Mr. Mosley and how he came to an end. Okay.
Oh, he fell off a cliff.
Yeah. Don't spoil it. I mean, you got yours set up. I didn't spoil it. I just told you to hurry up. So the question is, if he set out with the intention of knocking himself off, if you pardon the expression, because he was about to be found out for supporting something that everybody else in the medical profession supported anyway, so it wasn't going to make any big difference. This is how you would do it, is it? Now, just think about this logically, people. So he books a holiday to Greece. He goes on holiday to Greece.
Has a great time by all accounts.
Yeah, having a great time. Takes a boat trip that day with his wife and friends. Has lunch in a restaurant, a few glasses of wine. Decides he's going to walk back. Takes a wrong turn and then throws himself deliberately down a hillside. So really, that's how you would do it? Is it? Is that how you would do it? You know, fucking hell, get a grip. Get a fucking grip, people.
He's gone on an all-inclusive jolly up with his wife, right? And before people start fact-checking me, I don't know if it was.
It won't be an
all-inclusive,
all-inclusive. This isn't a fucking... This is a Greek island with nothing on it. It doesn't matter. It'll be cheap as chips, and he'll be scoffing wine like he's. In fact, he might even be. He might even have it intravenously induced. But
Look,
this is not.
He's a middle-class English bloke in his 60s. Of course, he's supping on wine left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
Right? He's on holiday in extremely warm conditions, right? And he's had a little walk along the hillside, and it's on camera. 1 minute he's there, the next he's gone. Right? He's dehydrated. He's pissed.
I've already said what happened. He fell. That's it. End of story.
I mean, that is the end of the story as far as I'm concerned. But there are people out there. It's the same with remember earlier on, our own Adam started, they're putting sanitary bins in men's toilets. And
who cares?
Well, no, the thing is, okay, I actually think that's a pretty good thing because, you know what? Men sometimes have to use certain products for certain things. They can become incontinent and things like that, right? Having that sort of thing there is fine as far as I'm concerned. In fact, could help someone keep their dignity.
Fine.
I mean, but obviously they have to make it about. If you look at the comments in the news article, they have to make it about something that is absolutely nothing to do with, and that's finding outrage about trans people. That's what people are making it about, and I just don't get it. It's like
you've gone off on a tangent.
Yeah, I do. Well, the tangent is actually relevant because what I'm saying is people have to connect two things.
Looking for the relevance.
That's the point. That's the point. They have to connect two things that are completely irrelevant, looking for the relevance.
God.
And that's what's going on with Mosley.
Can't do this much longer.
Oh, grow up.
What do you mean, grow up?
I mean, grow up.
Why?
Yeah, that's a good question, really.
I mean, really, why?
That's a good comeback. I like that. Yeah.
Oh. Well, Vaughn could change his nappy in there because he's a cyclist, isn't he?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think it's actually a good thing. I do. I think it's a good thing because, you know, sometimes men have to do dignity. And giving them something to help them keep the dignity is pretty good as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't always have to be about trans people. Is the point that I'm trying to make. And this doesn't always have to be about... that Michael Mosley doesn't have to be about the thing that people want to make it about. It's just a man that fell off a cliff. Where are we at, anyway? What's the time?
What's the time, Mr. Wolf? It's 1924.
Oh,
the public side is so much trickier because you really don't know where someone will take it, and there's often real-world experience behind it. It's not, you know, a presenter like yourself with a grilling. It's someone who's got a personal story.
Oh, shut up.
Going to tell us about how his father was a toolmaker.
No, he's telling us about how the audience are going to respond.
Oh.
You know,
We
I mean,
don't-
because they're real people and you don't know what they're going to say. Yeah, you do, because you
Shalini-
vetted everything.
Shalini, Michael Mosley is a TV doctor who pushed the thing, the thing, the thing, on people, and now he fell off a cliff in Greece.
The shit show hasn't started, Shalini, because it actually doesn't start till 7:30. I was misinformed as to its running time.
Me too. By Sky News. Sky News said starts at 7 p.m. Is that what? Why is there an irrelevant picture there of a presenter that's got nothing to do with it? I don't understand here.
Most unpredictable parts of tonight's event. We do have Adam with us now. Adam, a very, very quick thought from you. What does Rishi Sunak or Keir Starmer need to do?
I think Rishi Sunak, in a sense, needs to do the same thing as Keir Starmer, which is to just enthuse people a bit. I mean, looking at the opinion polls, he's got further to go, but on the other hand...
He's got much further to go. He's told people that he's going to make their kids slaves at age 18.
Looking at the realities, looking at what's been said this morning, he just needs to show that he would be a good Prime Minister. That's really, I think, his task tonight.
And do you think events like tonight can...
Poor Rishi didn't have Sky as a kid. Oh, boohoo, in Ireland, I had 4 fecking channels. I used to have 4 channels too. John, you've muted.
Yeah, good for you. Yeah, I did mute myself. But good for you, Shalini, 4 channels. At one point, growing up, we only had 2.
Oh, you only had 2. And I mean, there are some people alive today who had none.
Yeah.
And if you remember
even when it got to Channel 4 coming in, we couldn't get it because our aerial hadn't been upgraded. It took something like another 3 years before Channel 4 appeared.
And if you guys remember the 4-channel system, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Because they are nearly here, boys and girls. It is nearly time. So,
no, I think this is just an advert or a news update.
Whilst there's an advert or a news update, let me introduce our fighters once again for tonight. In the blue corner, I know you love it, really. Our fighters tonight in the blue corner. Once again, his mother was a pharmacist and his father was a GP. He is currently your Prime Minister, and his wife is going to meet little children in schools. It's Rishi Sunak! And fighting for you tonight in the red corner, didn't you know his father was a toolmaker? He has no personality and he's part of the Trilateral Commission. It's Keir Starmer! There you go.
Are you quite finished?
Yeah.
Thank you. Right, okay, moving on.
Shalini says Piers Morgan is a tosser. However, I actually watched Piers Morgan last night interviewed Kevin Spacey, and man, was Kevin Spacey stitched up. I'm quite happy to say that. The man was absolutely stitched up.
By Piers Morgan?
No, by the people that came out and made false allegations about him.
But didn't Morgan interview him earlier on?
No, he interviewed him yesterday.
Yeah. But you hadn't interviewed him ever before?
Not like this, no. I don't think he ever has, no.
Okay.
It's a 90-minute interview and it's well worth a watch.
Yeah, I can't watch Piers Morgan for 9 seconds, never mind 90 minutes.
I will say this, Piers Morgan barely spoke throughout it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, he's there. It makes me feel sick.
It is what it is, I guess. I actually happen to think he's probably one of the best interviewers our country
You can
has
think
ever
anything you like. I just can't stand the man.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm only talking from a forensic point of view.
No, you're not. Well, maybe you are. Maybe you are, actually, because he was involved in a crime, wasn't he?
No.
Oh, he didn't he didn't release photographs of people.
Oh
that...
yeah, he was involved.
Oh,
in
that wasn't a crime, was it? I think
Wasn't
it might have been.
Was it a civil suit? I thought it might have been a civil suit.
I think it should have been a fucking crime because those were serving members of the military. In fact, it could almost be construed as treason.
I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
Whether or not it was ever deemed as criminal, but it was certainly.
Yeah, well, I think it should have been. And in my book, he is a low-life gutter snake.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I will brook no time to that man.
I mean, I'm not saying that he's a decent human being. What I
Here
am
we
saying.
go. Manhattan Henge. Dun 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 dun. Twice a year.
Keith might be referred to as forensic. Yeah.
Twice a year, the sun lines up with, I don't know, 8th Avenue or something. And you get Manhattan Henge. Wow. Oh.
Do 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 do. Why the fuck was Keir? No, I'm not. No. Are we nearly there, guys? Guys, are we nearly there?
We must be nearly there, but
There we've got the helicopter shot of the entrance to the building.
how much money did they spend on those banners?
Probably more money than we have.
Well, definitely.
Wait, there's Beth! There's Beth!
We're joined tonight by the two men vying for the keys to Downing Street, Rishi Sunak and Keir Starmer.
It's not a good look, Beth.
We're also joined by a live audience, many of them from here
She's not in her jammies no more.
Sky News has been reporting from the town throughout this election year, finding out what matters
Who is she?
most to people here.
The woman that was in her
Exactly
jammies
the final
earlier.
seat both
Yeah.
our candidates this evening need to win.
Oh,
So, here's how it's
freaking
going to
hell.
work.
This is going
Over
to be
the next
bad.
90 minutes, the Conservative
my
and
God.
Labour leaders will each be put through their paces
Oh
by
my
our
God.
political editor, Beth Rigby, before facing the questions you want answered.
I'd rather stick cocktail sticks in my eyes than watch this shit.
But we're here!
The list is endless.
Why do we do this? Why do we put ourselves in it, Chase?
Change from what is there today.
I did want what they dare to die.
Pay attention to the voice of the people.
They just need to get their stuff together a little bit.
We just can't support all this immigration.
And cost of living just getting worse and worse and escalating.
They said they were going to stop the boat. They haven't stopped one boat. I feel so much
Well,
for the young.
that's not true. They
We can't
have.
afford to live, we can't afford to eat, and we can't afford to go into higher education.
More job opportunities in the local area. People I just need a bit more listening to.
Get your act
Send me
together and
booze!
sort the
Send it to
country out.
me! I only bought out
We've
1.5
drawn
cans
lots
of
to
cherry
decide
coke!
who should go
That's
first
not
this
enough.
evening, and it is the Labour leader.
I don't have
Keir
any
Starmer.
alcohol.
This
Here's
is the battle for number 10.
Could you stop shouting? I'm gonna have a fucking headache if you're gonna keep shouting.
Keir Starmer, thank you so much for coming to Grimsby
Thank you
tonight
for having me on, and thank you to the audience for being here.
Well, let's kick off.
It's like two personality
you told the
vacuums,
country
isn't
Jeremy
it?
Corbyn would make a great Prime Minister.
I
You
can
then expelled
feel
him from
things
Labour.
being
You
sucked
campaigned
into
for a
it.
second
The
EU
vacuum is so
referendum.
intense.
Now you don't talk about the EU, and you dumped all the left-wing policies pretty much you once loved. Your short political career is a catalogue, actually, of broken promises and changed positions. So how can the people in this room trust
Good start,
anything you
Beth.
say?
Good start.
When we lost the 2019 election, we lost very badly as a political party, including here in Grimsby, where people felt that they couldn't vote for the Labour Party. And I concluded that I should listen to the electorate. And when you lose that badly, you don't look to the voters and say, what on earth do you think you were doing? You look at your party and say, we have to change.
Do you get
And
the trust issue?
the change that I wanted to bring
what
about,
change
and
is that going to
have
be,
brought
Keith?
about, is
Come
to
on,
change
Keith.
the Labour Party, to put it back in the service of working people. And what has guided me through that at all times is that the country must come first and the party second.
You get
and so
the
I've had to
trust
take
issue.
difficult decisions to change our party.
but you get-
that has
Okay.
guided me through.
But Saki, you get there's a trust issue here with voters.
You get
accept
that, right? You accept that,
because
right,
what I
Keith?
would say
Yeah.
is this. I
It's a trust
decided
issue.
It must
Keith.
be country first.
Keith,
So
it's a
every
trust
decision
issue.
After that
Keith.
I judged
Keith.
previous decisions, previous positions.
Keith.
And I said, is this truly country first?
Is this
party
truly
first?
country
The answer
first?
is no.
Is it
Oh, no, wait, hold on. He's already answered that question. Because he said that he said he would let a family member die rather than
they know is a credible
what was that?
putting the country
But he
first.
did put something above his family.
I've done over the last
in the
4.5
last,
I'm not
years.
sure.
Let's just go through that, because in the last 2 general elections, you asked people to elect Jeremy
No, he
Corbyn
hasn't
as their
said it
Prime
yet.
Minister.
We're waiting.
You said, I do think
With
Jeremy
bated
Corbyn
breath.
would make a great Prime Minister. Jeremy Corbyn, did you mean that?
I was certain that we would lose the 2019 election.
That
we were
wasn't
not
my
ready.
question.
I was certain that we would. I was certain that we would lose it. I did campaign
So you could
for
just
Labour.
say it and you
I
liked.
I will
Is that what you
openly
mean?
say I campaigned for Labour.
Yep.
I wanted good colleagues to be returned into
mean
the
it.
Labour
Answer
Party.
the
And I
freaking
wanted a party
question.
that was capable of being changed so we could face
Are
the
you
future
also
Did you
a
not mean it
Trotskyist
when you said
communist,
it?
just
I was
like
certain
Jeremy
we would lose,
Corbyn?
and I think many other
The
people were certain that we would lose.
So you didn't mean it?
I was certain that we would lose.
So you said it because you didn't think he would be Prime Minister anyway?
Of course I campaigned for the Labour Party at last election and the election before
Nobody
that, and the one
asked
before
you.
that. I've always campaigned for the Labour Party, and I'm glad I did, because I wanted good
Nobody
colleagues
asked you that
to be
question,
returned
Keith.
to have their seats so that we could fight for the future of the Labour Party.
I will move
so
on.
I make no apology for that. I
will
fought for the
Don't
Labour Party
move on,
at the last
Beth.
election.
I'm just trying to make the point to everyone in here.
Why can't we have a
Hold on.
He
paxman?
said that he would make a great Prime Minister. Now will you actually say, yes, I thought that, or I didn't think that at the time? Just be honest.
I honestly didn't think that we had a chance of winning that
So
election.
you said it anyway.
I wanted
That's not a
to
question.
campaign for our colleagues, and I then
We need a
once we got
paxman.
the result that we did,
Oh
which
my
were the results
God.
that I
Come on,
expected
Beth.
that
You
we
could
might
hammer
get.
him
Shut
on
him
this.
As I
down.
say, I decided
Shut him down.
to step
She
up to
could
lead the
hammer
party,
him on
not
this.
something I had
Shut
changed
him
my opinion
fucking
to
down.
Parliament, and to change it and to put it back in the service of working people.
The reason and we will move on, it's a trust issue, right? Because
Well, look, let me
She
deal
been
with
hitting the
this
Botox?
issue. I think
she's been hitting
I went to
summit.
Northern Ireland and worked
Her
with
head's
the
looking- her
Social
face is
Sector.
looking
I said I would work
massive.
with the team to change it, and we did.
I
then
know
ran the
my
Crown
face is big,
Prosecution
but that's 'cause
Service. I
I'm
was the chief
fat.
prosecutor
There's
for
nothing to
5
do with
years.
Botox.
I said we would change the Crown Prosecution Service, make it better, particularly on violence against women and girls.
Oh.
I changed it,
Except
we did
for
it.
Jimmy.
I said I would change the Labour Party 4.5 years ago.
Except
Most
for
people
Rotherham.
said to me, you can't do it. I
Except
did.
for
So I
Rotherham.
stand on my record.
Okay, so let's
Your
just go
record
to your record, because
sucks.
I'm going to run you through your record because people have to judge.
Your record sucks, boys.
Let's get it.
Record. When you stood for election as leader, you did so on the basis of 10.
John, where you gone? Where's he gone? Can you guys still hear me? He's gone. I don't know if you guys can still hear me. Just like put a thumbs up in the chat or something.
What's going on?
Party.
He's
Most
back
of them
now.
are still in place.
You'd
I said
gone
that
as
they were
well.
bound
I think
up
the-
with
No,
economic
I'm still talking to the
economic
chat. They can still see and hear me.
No, that's not entirely true. But look, I'm not going to
What
shy
the
away.
fuck
Have I
happened
changed
there?
my position on those pledges?
Don't I?
Yes, I have, because I've asked myself, honestly, are these
Gone to
country
Chaser
first,
Haggis.
party second? And if the answer to
Because I
that question
didn't
is
drop
no,
the
then I
connection.
changed
I
it,
didn't drop the
because I think this
connection.
party
Do you think they
should
will-
always put the country
Because
first. But the other thing I'd
because
say,
the
Beth, is I do
sky
think
the
it's
sky
important.
thing never
they're wrong in
stopped for me.
principle?
Well,
So
let's
obviously I've
take,
still got internet.
Energy nationalisation.
Yeah, what the
A lot
fuck?
of people
I
think
think
we
it's
should
software.
nationalise our energy companies. They're making a huge amount of money. Lots of people are paying
How can we
a fortune on their
nationalise
bills.
them,
2
Keith?
years ago, at the height of
How?
the crisis, when people were facing very high bills,
Yeah.
I said to my team,
I don't think a
well,
producer
mock
would have been
up for me,
able to
tell me
help
how
that,
much it will
actually.
No, I
cost
think that was an
the
issue. That
energy
was nothing
companies.
anybody did.
That ran into tens of billions of pounds, and I had to take a decision.
I initially
which is,
thought
do
maybe
we use
YouTube had
tens of
pulled the
billions of
stream.
pounds to pay off shareholders, to nationalise the company, but not have any money to reduce your bill? I thought that would have been the wrong decision. I think most people watching this here or on the television.
So
can
what
say,
I will do
"For
is
heaven's
seize the
sake,
means
Keir,
of production,
if it's a choice
comrade."
of team keeping my bills low or paying off shareholders tens of billions of
Okay.
pounds. There's only one
All right.
choice you can make. And that's
Okay,
what I
you've
mean
explained that
by
one.
country first, party second. I changed my mind. It was
we need
too
to get to the
expensive.
audience.
I wanted to get
we
the
need to get to the
bills
audience
down.
questions, so let me rattle through this bit, if you don't mind.
I agree, Paul.
One of the pledges you can definitely afford to do, in fact, you might want to do, given the state of public services, is to raise tax on the top 5% of earners. That's anyone earning over £80,000 a year.
Once again, something I
did
think
you
is
ditch that?
totally
You can
unfair.
do that. That money would be useful. It could make £2 to £3 billion a year.
And people
for
can
the
disagree with me
public
all day
purse.
long,
Let me
but
be
I
really
don't
clear
think
about
that
tax,
anybody
because this
should
has
be
been a big
taxed at a
issue in
higher
the
rate than anybody
last
else.
3
Doesn't matter
weeks.
how much they're
So let me
earning.
be absolutely clear. All of
We should
our
celebrate
plans
success,
are
not
fully
punish it.
costed, fully funded. We will
I would
not
agree,
raise
Paul,
tax on
but
working people.
we
That
can't
means
afford to
no
pay one,
tax
mate.
rises for income tax, for national
We can't afford to
insurance,
pay
for
ourselves.
VAT.
If somebody
Our
wants
manifesto
to
comes
take on
out
an unpaid
tomorrow. It's a
producer
very
role,
forward-looking
more than happy
manifesto, but there's
to
nothing
do
in
it
our
for
manifesto
exposure.
that requires us to raise tax.
Swerve the top 5%.
You do it, we'll expose you.
You do it. We'll stick you on a promissory
I
note.
want to do things
Yeah.
differently. I
do.
want to grow our economy. I accept that previous Labour leaders
If we actually
have
start
sort of
earning a
pulled the
decent
tax
income,
lever
you'll
every
get
single
paid.
time and driven up spending. I want to grow our economy. The manifesto tomorrow will be a manifesto, a plan for wealth creation. Now, you may not hear a Labour leader say that very often, but for me, that is the most important thing.
What we are
Therefore,
really
I'm not
creating
doing what
wealth
other
for
Labour
is
leaders have done and be
government
tempted to
coffer,
simply say
comrade.
every time
Not
we're gonna
for
put
you.
a tax lever. We're not going to do that.
Yeah, we do need a
honestly,
sugar
because
daddy. There
you
aren't
often
many
say the
around.
country's public
Especially,
services are broken.
especially that
Many
want an
people, I think, in
old
this room will
Scottish
agree
grumpy
with
cat
that.
and a crippled
That's why
southerner.
many people also suspect when you're in power,
Hey, look, I'll undo
you
the top
will
button.
raise more
I'll do
tax.
it.
And I
I'll
want
undo
you
the
to
top
be
button.
honest here, please.
I'll do
You
it
said
now.
you'll raise specific taxes on profits on oil and gas companies, closing loopholes on tax avoidance, tax reform on private equity, VAT on private schools.
Tax avoidance
The
isn't
Tories
illegal,
say
so how can you close a
will go
loophole on it?
further. They're right,
Tax
aren't they?
avoidance is
You will.
great.
Well, the first thing I'd say is the Tories are
Tax
in no
avoidance is
position
a
to
sensible
lecture
thinking
anyone
person's
about tax
choice.
rises.
Yes, it is.
We've got the highest tax burden for 70 years. And I think that working
bet
people
Rishi
shouldn't pay their
says-
tax and we will not raise their tax.
We'll
What
raise
we
your
need to
tax.
do is get
Labour
the
will raise your
economy
tax by
going.
£2
There's a
grand.
reason
£2,000
that
a year.
tax has gone up so
£2,000.
much in recent years, and that's because the economy is flatlining.
What about your
We
dad?
have to address that problem.
so
And
no-
tomorrow
The
our
economy
manifesto
is
a plan
flatlining
for
because
growth,
I
a
voted
detailed
yes for
plan
closing
of
down the
first steps we
economy.
will do
Okay.
in
What about your
government
dad, Keith?
to get our
Tell
economy
me.
working so
What about
that
your
living
dad?
Come on,
standards
tell
go
us-
up
tell
and
us
we
about
have
him.
the
Come on,
money we need
Keith.
for our public services.
So no tax rises of any kind in the next Parliament under Labour?
Oh, hold on.
No tax rises for working people, and nothing in our manifesto
Okay.
requires tax rises over and above those that we have specifically set out.
No tax rises in the next Parliament?
No tax rises needed in the plans in our manifesto.
In the plans?
No tax rises for working
You
people.
give Labour a
That's
thumping
income
majority
tax,
and
He's
they
not-
will raise-
So you're
He's
not
not
doing
saying no
that.
tax
Just to
rises.
code-
He's not, no.
Just to code that for you guys, because when a politician says no plans, it does mean I might.
Well, Beth,
It
I'm not.
does. I've done this a bit. It does.
Oh, you know what? Got to give her that one.
She's right.
Got to give her
I'm not going
that.
to sit here.
She's
tonight
not
and
broad,
make
but
next
she's
5
right.
years' worth of budgets, and you wouldn't take me seriously if I did. What I will say
But you've
is that we
ruled
will
out
not
income
raise.
tax and
we
you've
will,
ruled out NI.
Yes, because
so you are ruling out some tax rises, but not all.
because I think working people are paying too much
No.
tax, and I think
You notice he's saying no tax rises for working people.
Cost of living crisis 10 times worse.
What
than
about
the
tax
rest of
rises?
the
What about tax rises for cars, Keith? Tax rises for cars.
What about that?
Yeah, that.
Working,
But I have
work
said
tax-
that none of our. We're going to unveil our
NI
manifesto tomorrow.
NI
No
We're going to
tax
unveil our
rises.
manifesto tomorrow. It's going to say completely opposite to what I'm telling you tonight.
Why haven't they unveiled their manifesto on day one? They knew this was coming. Why wasn't it ready?
People are worried about that.
It wasn't ready because
The
they
Labour Party
don't
in
know what they're
Wales launched a
doing.
review of
None of them
council
know what
tax
they're
banding.
doing,
Are you
John.
going to rule out
Well,
a review in England?
Everybody
too?
knew there was going to be an election this
Council
year.
tax is too high
Do
for
you
many
really
people.
think
It's
he
been
knows how
going
to
up. It
govern
went
this
up
country
again this year, but
effectively?
that's because
Think
the government
about
lost
it.
control
So
of
you're
the
not.
Are you
you're not
asking
gonna
me
do a
that
review of
forensically?
council tax.
I am, sir. I am.
You know they were last.
Well, I'm going to
when I
have to
was a
reply
teenager
as
and I'm really
no.
Beth, you're pushing me over and over again on tax. I'm not wanting to raise tax. I think.
Oh, hold on. He's now backed off to I'm not wanting to raise tax.
Is to grow the economy. I'm not going to apologise for that because I genuinely think that if you don't grow the economy, then you're taxing an ever-diminishing return.
I mean, people here will be worried about fuel duty, right?
That man is going to be our
Conservatives
Prime
have frozen
Minister
it
in a
since
few
2011.
weeks.
If you unfroze it, you could get
He's
5 to 6 billion quid.
He's
That's
fucked.
a tax on working people.
Yes, and that's why
you are going to freeze it.
Every single budget we have supported the freeze on fuel
And you will continue to do that as Prime Minister if you would win?
We have to concentrate
No.
on growing the economy. On fuel
Just
duty,
say
that
no.
has to be decided budget by budget. But my track record is we support...
Going to do it or not, I don't know.
Just say
Hey,
no!
fucking hell, he doesn't have a
on fuel
clue.
duty every single time it's come up.
Okay.
But I want to do things differently.
He
If we just do
wants,
things in the
just
same
because
way
he
we've
wants
done
to
for the
do
last
something.
14
I want to
years,
do
we
things
are paying
differently
the
as
same
well, but I
mess.
don't
I'm
get the
not prepared to
choice.
do that.
Look,
This election
If
is
he
an
gets
election about
elected with a
change, about
thumping
doing things
majority,
differently,
he'll come
about
walking
growing
out
the
in a bloody
economy and
militant
making sure we
uniform and say,
create the
"It's
wealth
time,
so
comrades."
this country can run our public
Okay.
service. And
I'm going to have one more go.
I ran a public...
Well,
Hold on, come on, Beth.
I do want to finish this. I ran a public service for 5 years. I ran a public
badly.
service in the austerity years. I know what it means to be a public servant. I absolutely care about our public services.
It's
My
coming.
wife works in the NHS.
It's
My mum
coming.
worked in the NHS, and I know what it means to the NHS. But so I absolutely want our public services to function.
Say
I've
it!
been in them, I've
Say
worked
it
in them for 5
And
years.
I've heard the specifics on certain taxes.
Oh, he's not going to say it.
Council tax.
Do you reckon he's been told? He's been told.
Yeah, he's been told. Don't say your dad was a toolmaker.
On it.
Don't
And
say
that is
it.
your prerogative. But what about capital gains tax? That's the tax you pay when you sell a valuable asset like shares or a second home. If you made capital gains tax the same level as income tax, you could raise £14 billion a year.
By
That must be
stealing off
attractive to
people!
you if you want to repair public service.
Hold on a minute, Beth.
Manifesto, that is not a choice that we are making. It will
You
not
could
be
save
unveiled
£14
tomorrow.
billion
There's no
and more
surprises in
by
our
not
manifesto.
fucking
Our manifesto
spunking all your money
is a
in
manifesto
Ukraine.
for growth.
And on
It's about how we
diversity
tackle our
hires.
planning laws, how we get the
Fuck's
skills
sake.
for our young people, how we set up great British energy. This is going to be a
Oh,
public
Jesus
company.
Christ.
So
Hold
the
on.
taxpayers' money that goes into investing in energy comes back to the
Okay, so,
taxpayer.
Keir, the reason
These
I-
are the ideas
But the
that
energy
I'd like to
doesn't.
put on the table.
I've
An
just-
investment
Economy
vehicle.
for the future.
Just the reason I'm asking you this is I don't know if you remember that interview we did in September 2021 when I asked you about wealth
were
taxes.
close.
You said people who earn their money from properties, dividends, stock shares, they should be looked at. We need to look at.
He
a
did say his
range
mother was a
of
nurse, though.
options,
That was on the
and that
Wheel of
includes
Luck.
the way people earn their money. So you were looking at wealth taxes. You are looking at wealth taxes. It's okay to say it.
We're not looking at wealth taxes. Nothing in our manifesto will require tax flows. You'll see it for
But
yourself.
you won't rule it out.
Let's test this tomorrow. I invite all of you, please, if you get the chance tomorrow afternoon,
Round to
have
your
a look at
gaff.
the manifesto. We're launching it
Oh.
tomorrow morning.
Oh, I thought he was going to invite us all round to his
But
gaff for
also every single
breakfast.
thing is fully costed, fully
No,
funded,
thank you.
and they do not
And
involve
also,
tax. So we're going
you
round
They
and
don't
round in
die
circles.
of boredom.
This is the
No, you all
document
know
that we're
too
going to
that
launch tomorrow.
if it's not ruled out in the manifesto, it's on the table. So let's just carry on. What about you?
Oh man, he's got the
personally? You earned
personality of a fucking duck.
£128,000
And not
tax,
even Donald Duck.
last year.
You know, because at least
No,
Donald Duck's
yeah.
angry every now and
I
then.
think ducks take
That
offence
puts you
to
in the
that
top
because
2 to 3% of
that's
earners.
not fair.
Would you personally be happy to pay more tax?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
I've always paid my tax in full. But, you know, and I accept
Hold on,
I
hold on.
earn a lot of money in the job I am now in. But when I grew up, my dad was a toolmaker.
Yes! He's fucking...
And actually, we couldn't make ends meet.
Yes! He had to get it in.
We couldn't pay our bills. I know what it feels like to feel anxious about the next bill which you can't pay. And a lot of people today are in precisely the same position as I was in. And politics is about your policies, of course, but it's also about who do you have in your mind's eye when you make your decisions? Who are you thinking about when you make your decisions? I'm thinking about the people who are struggling with their bills. I'm thinking about working people who deserve a better Britain.
See, as soon as he says that, it doesn't matter what he says after it. You just zoned out now. Fucking hell. He's a toolmaker.
But I'm nearly finished. Because I want to come on to something that matters to working people, and that's child benefits.
Finished me off.
To remind you all, if you probably know, there's a 2-child benefit cap for families, some of whom have more children than that. This is hitting some of the poorest and most vulnerable in Britain. The Resolution Foundation think tank says families cannot claim
Stop having
about
fucking kids when you're broke.
£3,200 per extra child a year.
How about
Dozens
that?
of organisations, from the Trade Union
I
Congress
mean,
to the Church of England to the
Well,
former Prime Minister Gordon
no, I
Brown,
agree. I completely agree with myself
Is
here.
that in your
Because
manifesto
can I
tomorrow?
just point out
It isn't.
who the
And
fuck
it's
is
a really
breeding?
difficult decision for all the reasons you outlined, because the last Labour government had a laser focus on dealing with child poverty and did a huge amount of good work, including Sure Start and the
It
programmes
cost
that were set up.
£1.3 billion.
But-
All of those wealth taxes I was talking about, or the 5% on top earners. You
Why
could
does
do
she
that
look so
and-
fucking
and you
smug?
could do
She's
that
not that
policy,
bright.
£1.3
She
billion
does look very
a year.
happy, doesn't she?
Huge damage.
Is
has
she
been done
on
to our
some?
economy under this government. Huge
Maybe.
damage. And if we are able to come into government and form a government,
couldn't
we're
either
probably going to
confirm or
inherit
deny the answer to
a
that
broken
question,
economy,
John.
a broken NHS, broken public services,
Okay.
in fact, broken everything.
Okay.
And I'm not going to make.
Oh, hold on,
promises
who's running
that
the
I can't
NHS
keep.
in
So I'm doing
Wales?
actually a difficult thing, which is saying to the electorate.
Ben,
saying
who's
to
running
you
the
now,
NHS in
I
Wales?
can't do
You
something
accept-
I think
which
that could be
I know the
Labour,
benefits of
John?
it.
Yeah, I
We
think
need
it
to deal
is.
with
I think it is,
child
Ben.
poverty, and we will
Who
have
broke
a
that?
strategy
Who
for
broke the
child poverty.
NHS in Wales?
I
I
think
think that could be,
politicians who, before
Labour,
the
John.
election, say we'll do everything.
There you go.
And then after the election, they don't
So-
deliver. So I've taken a
Just,
decision,
Keir Starmer,
which
just
is
to be
before the
clear-
election, I'm going to tell you what we can't
Okay.
do, even though some of these things are good things to do. I
So,
accept
Keir,
that.
I'm going
We're
to
not
interrupt now
do
because
it.
I'm nearly out of time. It would lift 1 million kids out of poverty, and just to be clear, you're choosing not to do it.
Yep,
It's a
of course.
difficult choice. We will have an anti-child poverty strategy, of course we will. The last Labour government did.
Okay.
We
Well,
will
the
have
last
one.
Labour
The
government killed
easiest thing in the world
500,000
is what
kids
Rishi Sunak is doing,
under
is
the
to
age of
simply say you
5.
can have everything.
Okay.
Unfunded commitments, unfunded promises. That's what got us into this problem in the first place.
You have
And working
unfunded
people are
commitments,
paying the price with
unfunded
higher
promises,
bills, their
and you're just a
mortgages.
bloody
I'm not
communist
prepared
in a
to have Labour
suit.
government
That's
ever
all he
make that
is.
mistake
So,
again.
Keir,
Right, whilst the audience talk to him, I'm going to go get myself another drink.
So, Keir,
I'll be back in a minute.
some people feel
cool
that
with you?
they
Can you hold
don't
the
really
fort?
know you. Some
Yeah.
people say you change your mind all the time, and I
Hold
hinted
on.
at some of that. Some people say you're boring and stiff. Tell me something.
Just like you, Ben.
Tell me something, a morsel about yourself that will change people's minds.
My dad was a
Look,
toolmaker.
all my life, I've believed in service. That is why I worked in Northern Ireland with the
Come on,
police service
say
of
the line.
Northern Ireland to ensure
Do
we
it.
had the confidence of both communities.
Say
I
it.
thought that was a really important thing.
Come on,
That's
Keir.
why I worked and
You
headed
got
up the Crown
this.
Prosecution Service.
He's not going to see it.
Public service.
Wait for
That's
it.
why I came into politics when I finished as Director of Public Prosecutions and wondered what to do next. My wife was ringing adverts in the papers about, well-paid lawyers' jobs, and I said, no, I want to serve my country, which is why at a late stage, actually, I came into politics to
Was
serve
Vic
my
not
country.
Keir, I
keen-
believe
was Vic,
in
your
you.
wife not keen for you to do this?
No, she wasn't at all. She
What
thought
does she think
it'd be
about the
far better to
prospect of you-
continue being a lawyer
Okay.
on a reasonable salary and not have all of the challenges that you get as a politician. But I was clear in my mind. I wanted to come into politics because I wanted to serve my country. And I've waited 9 years now in opposition. I've
Did your
worked
dad
4.5
serve
years
his
to put my
country,
party
Keith?
back in a
If you-
position where I can put
Was
it before
making
you and others,
practical
the
products for his
voters,
company,
as
wasn't he,
the
John?
only party that's
For his
going to
country?
He might have been.
If you become
And
Prime Minister in 3 weeks' time, what do you fear the most?
Oh, the only real fear, I suppose, I have is for my family.
Rex.
I've got a boy who is just turning 16. He's 15 and 3/4. I've got a girl who's 13. These are really difficult ages for children. If they're under 5, it would probably be easier. If they were 20 or over, it'd be easier. And my only fear, really, is the impact it's going to have on them. That's why we never name them in public, never have a photo shoot with them. I want them to be able to walk to school and have their own lives unaffected as much as I can
I
by
actually agree with
what
that.
I'm doing. And that I don't fear the big decisions.
Okay.
In fact, I relish the chance to change our country. And on the
Is
first day, I want to start on our first steps. I want
Okay.
you to see the change that we can bring about.
Keir
But my only
Starmer.
fear is actually, and the only thing that sort of keeps me up at night is worrying about my children.
Any doubt that you're up to the job?
No, not at all. I've led different organisations. I've changed them.
I have
I
doubt.
want the opportunity to change the country.
Oh, heckles.
The present who's still not, after 15, 20 minutes, got on to the future and that this growth process that you're
Oh, it
going
had to be a
go
fucking
through?
Well,
Scotsman,
thank you for
didn't
raising
it?
that, because
One of yours, yeah.
we've got what we've done is
Okay.
we've set out the big
We're
change
gonna-
that we want to make, but also what the first steps will be that we can do on day
That was a
one. So
planted
the day
heckle,
after
wasn't
election,
it?
I
I
think
want to
so.
start on our first
A
step.
planted
stabilising
heckle.
the economy to make sure we
Sky
never go through a cost
TV.
of living crisis like this before.
Oh, that
Set
entire
up,
audience are
Great
plants,
British
John.
Energy
Oh, yeah, I
Centre,
know,
your
but a
bills down.
planted
I want to start
heckle.
on the
Right,
40,000
I'll be back anyway.
appointments
Gotta
each
get
and
That's
every
just
week
stepping
that we need to get
to the
waiting
lowest
lists
of the
down in our
low.
NHS.
Okay.
We
If he
will
says
be
the line
doing
again,
that
make sure you
tomorrow
double cheer for
after the
me.
election.
I'll be
I
right
don't
back.
That is
mean
what I
to
look forward to
interrupt.
most.
Well, I do mean to interrupt. We've got to get to the audience questions. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for coming and doing that with us. And now you've got some harder questions from this lot.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
Thank you.
So do we go to Sunak now and then back to Starmer?
Well, there you are, the audience questions getting underway a little bit early. You heard what Sir Keir Starmer had to say to Beth Rigby there. He said he was certain that Labour would lose that 2019 election, but he has put the party back in the service of working people, putting the country first, he said. He also insisted there's nothing in the party's manifesto, launched tomorrow morning, that would require them to raise taxes for working people. He said the party isn't considering wealth taxes, with all of their commitments fully
Yeah, he said a
costed.
lot, but
And he also said that he would personally be happy to pay more tax. Well, now it is your turn to put your questions to the Labour leader.
Right. Now, our first question comes from Sharon, who is from Grimsby. Sharon, where are you?
Sharon from
There
Grimsby.
she is. Take it away, Sharon.
Step up, Sharon.
As someone born and bred in Grimsby, I'm proud of our town, but it has some of the most disadvantaged areas in the country, with high levels of child poverty, inadequate social housing and increasing numbers having to use food banks. How will Labour address these inequalities and improve outcomes for the most disadvantaged residents, both here and across the UK?
Here?
Thank you for that.
Both here? What's wrong with inequality?
And I've been to Grimsby a number of times now. And
This
my
tool
strong
here was made
impression
for me.
is
It's a
that
Starmer
you're
original.
right
Here's
about
a
the
question.
challenges that people are
Here's a
facing.
question
And
for you.
we've
What's
had
wrong
discussions
with
about that even this
inequality?
morning with various
Well,
groups around Grimsby. The very
I
real
agree
challenges,
that
the
there
cost
should
of
be
living
nothing wrong with
crisis, the
inequality of
challenges that people have
outcome.
with schooling
Absolutely.
and with health.
So
But what
what's
I
wrong with
also think
inequality? If
is
someone works harder
the
than someone
drive and
else,
ambition
why
that
shouldn't they
people
be
in their
have more
place
things?
And in Grimsby,
Yes.
and the sense that they want a government that matches their own ambition.
What these people are
I
looking
think the
for
way
is
to do that
communism.
is to ensure
Yes.
that the government works with local communities, local businesses. We need a growth plan.
And if
for
you agree with us
Grimsby,
there, don't
which
forget to
your
hit the like
fingerprints are
button,
on. I
subscribe
don't
to the
want
channel if you
someone
haven't
standing in
already.
Whitehall
And
or
more importantly,
Westminster
if you could
looking
click
at
the
a map
share button,
and
we'd
deciding what they
appreciate that.
think is best for Grimsby.
Just
Because I
going
think
to
the
get
people
myself a
with
drink,
skin in the
Ben. I'll
game
be back in
are
a
the people who
tick.
make the best decisions.
All right,
So I
I'll
want a
deal with
government
this.
that partners with you, drives through the
He-
change,
he actually
creates
turned
the
himself
conditions
off,
for
look.
businesses to thrive. If that means changing the planning rules so we get our roads sorted out, the congestions and the potholes are an absolute nightmare. Create the conditions for businesses to thrive. I was really struck
don't
at the time
want
before
businesses
last I
to
was up
thrive
here,
without
I
your
was looking at some of
extra
the
input.
offshore wind
Mr.
turbines and
Communist.
talking to apprentices here in Grimsby. Brilliant young people, by the way, who all lived within about 20 or 30 minutes, of where they're working. And they were very skilled going out to maintain those wind turbines. We need more of that. The supply chains for that should be in and around here, so they're not other parts of the country or abroad. That's the sort of challenge that I relish. It's what I want to do on day one, which is to get to this place where I can roll up my sleeves, work
We've got another
with
hour,
you,
this, people.
have the respect to listen to what you're saying here, not sit a long, long way away and make decisions about what should happen in Grimsby. And I'm convinced that if there's a government that has ambition that matches the people of Grimsby, we can move this forward very, very quickly. And I can see some of the green shoots there already, because some of the work that's going on, we had a round table this morning with some of the businesses, the community groups here in Grimsby.
And I told them how they're going to be absolutely fucked by the time
but what they
I'm
were doing
finished with
about
them.
it. I want to roll up my sleeves and
That's
work
what's
with
gonna
them and to
happen.
say the government
Because
is on your side.
if
That
I
would be a
do things
massive
like raise the
difference
minimum
to the
wage,
last
they'll
14
have no
years.
choice but to sack a load of people.
How it's all going to be funded. If tax is not going up, how are you going to
That's right,
fund
well,
it?
how's it all going to fund it? How's it all going to be funded, Keith?
We need to put money and resource into Grimsby. We need resource decision-making to come. So we have to be bold enough in government to release that.
Thanks, John. Now I need a
that there's
pee.
more power here in Grimsby. They're difficult things to do. Governments haven't done that in the past, but we have to do that. Some of it we can do straight away. The potholes that are driving everyone mad because their cars get damaged, it costs them hundreds of pounds.
I haven't
and if
decided yet.
you need your car or your van for work, it's a complete nightmare because you can't actually use it. That can be done straight away. We've been setting out our plans on that. Childcare came up this morning in a discussion I was having. We want to create 100,000 new places for childcare. This is 3,000 nurseries around schools, because I think primary schools are the best place for nurseries, so that means children get the opportunity to develop the skills that they need before reception year, which isn't happening in the way it should at the moment, in my view. But also, parents and carers can go back into work, which many of them want to do, and that then
Actually,
helps
many
the local
mothers
economy.
especially
There are
want to
things that we
stay
can do,
home with
goes
their
back to
children,
my
actually.
point. We've got first
But they've got no
steps, the
choice.
things we want to do the day
But
we
to
get
go
into
back to
government.
work.
If we're
No
elected in,
choice.
that I want to start, and I've said to my shadow cabinet, I want you to prepare months ago for the first day in government. I don't want you picking up the phone on day one. I want to know you're
I
ready,
refer
and
to
that's
my
why I'm
earlier
so
question.
confident that we
Why
can do
isn't your
this as soon as
manifesto
we get the chance,
ready
we
for
do get
day
the chance
one?
to bring about the change this country
Exactly,
so
John.
desperately needs.
OK, thank you. I've got so many questions.
That's all
Look
right.
at them all. Oh, so many questions.
Oh, so many
And the
questions,
next
Keith.
one
So
comes
many.
from Jonathan. He's a junior doctor from Leeds. Jonathan. there he is,
Jonathan.
thank you.
Jonathan's got a question for you,
Because I
Keir.
earn more money per hour working part-time
The
as a
size of that
university
heat.
student than I do as a newly qualified doctor.
Go back to
Abysmal
work.
pay, conditions and morale mean that more of my colleagues than ever are planning their exit, and I worry about what this means for my loved ones and the wider general public.
Oh, you stupid son.
Scotland and Wales have decided that they can pay NHS doctors fairly. How and when will you commit to doing the same in England?
Well, what do we mean
won't
by
be able to do
fairly?
anything unless we win
Well,
the election. We've obviously
there's
only
nothing
been in
fa-
opposition
nothing unfair
so
about the
far.
way doctors
I have
are
been
paid.
frustrated, if I'm honest, that these strikes have gone
Let's
on
face
as long
it.
as they have gone on.
Doctors
The strikes
go
are
in
very bad for patients.
knowing the
People are very
situation.
anxious about the strikes. I don't think doctors want to be on strike. As I said earlier, my wife works in one of the big London hospitals, so I know
That is a big
firsthand and
head.
relayed
You're
every
right,
night
Paul.
the pressure that NHS staff are under. It's been unrelenting during COVID, unrelenting now because of
Was it?
waiting list. So what we would do
'Cause
is
I
instead of
recall them being
arguing
sent
about who
home,
gets in the room first to
I
negotiate
recall them being
with the
told to bring in
doctors,
books and
we
board
would roll up
games.
our
I
sleeves
recall
in a
these
grown-up way,
things.
get in the room and
I
settle
saw
this
them
dispute so
firsthand,
that
in
patients can
fact.
get the care they need, doctors can get back to work,
Speaker
and the
from the
country can move
market
forward.
show.
Because we can't go on like this.
You ever seen the
anymore.
Tefal
The sooner we
adverts?
have a
Remember
bit
the
of grown-up
Tefal
politics
adverts?
in this,
No.
the better, I think.
Oh, good
because we
grief, you
absolutely
must
need
have.
to move forward as a country.
Are you going to pay them more? Are you going to pay them more? Because you've said
Are you
that you
gonna
won't
pay
meet their
them?
pay claims.
Well, the doctors say they
gonna-
want 35%, and I've had to say...
We don't.
No,
We want a path to pay restoration.
no, I get that, but again,
Our
I
pay
want
has
to be
been cut in
straight
real
about this.
terms,
Yeah,
and we're
and
looking
it's
to
about-
make that.
it's
The
about
35% thing is not.
Pay
Tefal
progression
scientists.
conditions, and all of that
Yeah.
can be negotiated.
Yeah.
On the 35%, I don't think we can afford that as a country because of the damage that's been done to the economy. I don't want to pretend to you that we can. I'll sit down in a room and negotiate and find a way through this, just as has happened in other countries, because it's intolerable that we go on. But I'm not going to start with the proposition that we simply accept whatever the other side is asking for. That's not how negotiations go. And you wouldn't respect a government if it operated in that way. And other people in other walks of life
Give
have
him
got, constraints and pressures on their lives that have to be balanced. But will we be grown? All that's happened this year, and it's so frustrating, is the government say we want a deal, but we won't go into the room first. It's for the doctors
never
to.
wanted a deal,
Well, I think you may be right. And the fact they've left this to the election without fixing it and just booted it the other side of the election.
I'm not being
I think
funny,
it's
but
disgraceful. It doesn't do
I
you
think
any
it's
good.
disgraceful
It
that
doesn't do
doctors
patients
who
any
already
good. It
earn
doesn't do
more
the
than
country
the
any
vast
good. Well, we've
majority
had
of people in
a
this
government
country
that's
are refusing to
chaotic,
treat
that's
people.
divided,
I don't think
has-
that's right,
has
but
broken
that's
just
just
about
me.
everything they've touched. I don't know a period
Because,
in
yes,
history,
they're
and you
already
will think
earning
about
more
this,
than the vast
where,
majority of people in this
almost
country.
everything is now in a worse state than when they started in government. And this is not about Labour or Tory. If you leave your country in a worse state than when you came into
Fucking
government...
hell, who gets
you should be
14 quid an
booted
hour?
out.
OK.
That's a lot.
I've got so many questions. I've got so many questions. The next one comes from Hussein from London.
Oh, what's
Where
the
is he?
Hussein
There
got
you
to
go,
say?
please.
Hi.
So I'm
I
an
can't see
average
who's
working
saying.
parent from London, and I send my daughter to a private school.
Yeah, you'll see him in a
which in
minute.
turn saves the government about £7,500 per year. But by now having to pay 20% VAT, we would be priced out, and we would have to send our
Sure,
children
you're from
to state
London,
school.
Hussein.
The fact, it in fact beats the objective of collecting tax. Rather, it increases the influx in public schools. So private schools is not only for the rich. I mean, the rich would continue sending their children. It's us who would have to make the change. And the ultimate losers in all of this are the children, who are meant to be our futures.
Yeah.
So would you reconsider taxing private education?
Look, let me be really clear about what we're doing here. I have nothing against private schools. I absolutely
You clearly
recognise
do.
that many parents
Did he not
work
go to a
hard
private
and save
school?
hard to send their children
Well,
to
listen,
private
he's a
schools
communist.
because they have
He's a
aspirations
communist.
for their children.
Did he not go to a
I
private
equally
school?
accept that every
I'm not sure.
parent, every parent
dad was a
has
toolmaker.
aspiration for their children, whether they go to private school or not. But I absolutely respectfully want to make your point because it is a concern. It's a concern to you and to other people. In our
Basically,
state
what he's
secondary
saying to you
schools,
is, fuck
we've
off.
got thousands of teachers
You might
missing
as
in
well
the
just
subjects
say
that
it.
we
Just
need.
say it,
So in a
Keith.
state
Just say
secondary
fuck
school,
off.
let's take maths.
Because
too many
he is saying
students,
no.
young people,
He's
children
saying,
are
no,
being
I'm not
taught
changing
by,
my mind. You will
maths
be
by
taxed 20%.
Sports teachers, by supply teachers. And that's not acceptable.
I just wish politicians would talk straight.
Those
Just say,
children in a state secondary
sorry,
school
sir,
who
but
don't
fuck
have
off.
the teachers they need. That's not a one-year
went to
problem or a
Reigate
two-year
Grammar
budgeting
School.
problem. It's a lifelong problem because if they don't
On
get
a
the qualifications
bursary.
they need at 15 and 16, they can't go and do what
Was
they want.
Reigate
So we
Grammar
need to
School a private
recruit
school? I believe it is.
6,500
Come on.
teachers for our state secondary schools to make sure
Just
every
tell him
child, wherever
to
they
do
come
one.
from, whatever their background, whichever
'Cause that is what
school
he
they
wants
go
to say.
has the same opportunity. And I'll be pressed when I say going to recruit 6,500 teachers. Beth and others will say to me, where's the money for that? And I say we will get rid of the tax break for private schools and use that money directly to fund those teachers in our state secondary schools.
So he said no. He said no.
That's a political choice. It's actually a tough choice. I do understand what you're saying. I don't think it will lead to lots of people going to state education. We have done some
I think
analysis
you're
on this,
wrong.
but it's a choice. I think every single child, whatever their background, wherever they're from, should have the chance and to believe, genuinely believe
Sachi, I think
that success
Hussein wants to
belongs
come
to
back.
them. Yeah,
Please.
of course.
But this would mean that you would tax the working parents who send their children to
Yes.
private school.
Yes.
Because the super rich will continue doing
Yes,
that.
he would.
And it's only
Yes.
the working
Yes,
parents
he
who
will.
will have to make a decision or
Yes,
pay
he
the
will.
taxes.
The position at the moment is there's a tax break. So you pay VAT on other services, but you don't pay it for private schools. Now, I understand why that's been in place.
Why
but it's
not?
a tax
Why-
break
why
that we
should
are
he have to pay-
removing.
they have to
it's
pay
not
it?
an introduction of a new tax. We're simply saying we need to find the money to properly fund our state secondary schools so that in maths, to take an example, it's not the only example, I want every child to have a maths teacher teaching them maths because it's the Prime Minister says he wants maths to the age of 18. Let's first get the right teachers for every single child up to 16.
We don't have a
because at the
Prime
moment
Minister,
they don't
Keith.
have it. And I
He
genuinely
has
worry,
just
if you don't
spent
get
10
maths
minutes
at
telling
the
that
right
man to
level
fuck
in
off.
your GCSEs,
Yeah.
He should have
it's
just
really
told him to
difficult go
fuck
on
off.
A levels.
Yeah,
it's
I know.
really difficult to go
And
on
this
for
is why
apprentices.
people are...
This is
Our
why
child will be held
I could
back.
never be a
Now, this is
politician because I'd just turn
difficult
around
stuff,
and
I'm
go,
not gonna
no,
tolerate
I'm going to
the fact that
tax
we haven't
them.
got the right teachers in our state
This is
secondary
also
schools.
why
That's the
people are
position
flocking
we're
to
in
Nigel
now. It's a
Farage right
disgrace
now.
in that
Keir,
position.
I'm going to
Yeah,
interrupt you
possibly.
because
'Cause he
I've
talks
got so many
straight.
audience
Yeah, well, he
questions
doesn't. He
and
doesn't. He
I'm
still
gonna be in
drags it
trouble if
out.
I don't get through them, and you'll be gone, and I'm the one in trouble. So I've got Kerry from Grimsby. Kerry?
Yes, hi.
Please.
Hi.
Hi,
Good evening,
Kerry.
Sir Keir. My NHS dentist practice went private
Oh,
and
hello.
gave us a choice of either staying and paying private or finding a new practice. I've currently been on that waiting list for over a year with
I can't
no
even get on
idea
one.
of how long that waiting list is with my
Can't
family.
even get on a waiting list.
How would you fix this crisis and stop dentists from going to the greed of private?
We need to
I don't
make
think
sure
it's
that-
greed.
There's something wrong with
we don't have
dentists.
enough NHS dentists for adults
Oh, they're
or for
sadistic people.
children, and some
No.
areas are deserts now where you simply
There's something
can't get
wrong
an NHS dentist.
with
So we've
the
got
way
to
the
fix
whole
this.
dentistry
There's
thing
two
is set
things,
up.
that we would do, 3 things, but the first is to make the money available for 700,000 urgent appointments in
That's
NHS
barely any
dentistry,
appointments.
including 100,000 for children, which is desperately
That's
needed.
barely any
the
appointments.
second is to incentivise newly qualified
There's
dentists
70
to
million
set up
people in
as
this
NHS
country.
dentists by paying them money to put down their roots in the areas where they're most needed, so we can recreate those NHS dentist practice. We have to do this.
So what he's saying is you're not going to get any help anytime soon.
You rightly are. I was genuinely shocked the other day. I went to Alderhay Children's Hospital. This is a brilliant hospital. Do you know what? For 6 to 10-year-olds, the most common cause of admission to hospital is rotting teeth, to have their teeth taken out because they haven't seen a dentist. It's a disgrace.
Because their parents feed them shite and let them eat shite, sugary shite all the time. Fucking energy drinks, Coke, all that kind of stuff.
I have no idea what you're talking
we're
about.
At NHS dentist practice, but I'm private because I'm an adult and therefore don't get it
Sure
on the
you
NHS.
don't.
But our kids get NHS
I
dentistry, and I believe in it.
Okay.
The nearest one available is somewhere further than home.
Yeah, and that's the problem. You've got these vast areas where it's not just how much
Have
it is.
no idea
it's
on
also
that one,
just
Paul.
isn't a dentist there, which is
No
why. And that,
idea.
how have we got to this state in 2024 where basic things like dentistry are a problem in our country? I mean, what on earth has happened to get us to this place? We've got to fix it. I look forward on the first day we get into government to starting on this job. I find all of that much more interesting than all the sort of talking about what you're going to do. I just want to get on with the job.
I just want to get on with the job. And bring my Starmer brand tools with me.
The question is from Cayman, who's from Yorkshire. Cayman,
Hi,
where
Cayman.
are you?
Hello.
Please go ahead.
Hi. I admired how in touch you were with the public when you were obviously a
Fucking name is Cayman.
Director of
What
Public
kind of
Prosecutions at
fucking
CPS.
question is that?
But
I
last year,
admire
feel
how
like
in touch you
formed
were
more
with
of
the
a
public.
politician Than the person
Well, that's
that
not
I
a
would
question,
vote
that's
for
a
within the
statement.
country.
That is an incorrect one.
You seem more like a political robot. How are you going to convince others like me to vote for you?
Well, the most... Look, all I can say, I went to...
The robot, the AI is breaking.
Glitching the matrix.
Effectively bringing over every criminal prosecution in England and Wales, including here in Grimsby, in our courts to make sure that where people broke the law, they were prosecuted and you were kept safer as a result of that. Working, of course, with my staff. I worked before that in Northern Ireland, so I've had this...
This makes a great back scratcher.
...in my life of
That's
trying
just
to
shit.
serve the public. That's why I worked in Northern Ireland.
That's
That's why I
just
worked
shit.
in the Crown Prosecution Service. That's why I
You
took
just
the
worked
decision,
wherever you could to
go
feather
into
your own
politics.
nest, you
Well, I came into
pillock.
politics quite late in life. I'd done other things beforehand. But I took
Well,
the decision
Keith
that I
Starmer,
couldn't,
I deem that you have been a
take
naughty,
the
naughty boy.
issues, make the changes that I thought were necessary unless I went into politics. I was
Do
frustrated.
you think you've changed?
Well, I've been much clearer in my own mind that the country must come first.
He keeps saying that.
Party and party politics second. I'm really
until he gets into power, and then he's going to say, "It is all about the
for that.
party,
I think
comrades."
That's really important. I think it probably is a result of coming into politics.
The
late,
party
because
will
I'm not
tell you to
tribally
ignore the
political.
evidence of
I
your
actually do
ears and
believe
your
there are good
eyes.
people who vote other than Labour who want their family, their community, and their country to go forward. And
He's
that's why I said,
lying
if
to
we are
you
coming to,
people.
power.
This was a
decade of national
fucking
renewal,
serious
and I want
mistake.
everybody who wants the country to improve
How
to
do you
feel
mean?
that there's a place for them, whether or
To
not
try and
they
do this without
traditionally
drink.
voted Labour, because
Oh,
I actually
yeah, because you're not mental
genuinely
like me,
think
are you?
that the vast majority
Okay.
of people in this
No,
country
no,
are
I'm
reasonable
not.
people, they're tolerant people, who
Come on,
sort
have
of
you
live
got
and let
any
live,
alcohol on you?
and if given
No.
the chance, would
You got
pull
none there at
together
all?
to
You haven't got an
advance their
emergency
community,
stash?
to advance their family.
You haven't got a
and to
break
advance
glass,
their
smash
country.
glass
And
here,
I don't
and then
think
you could just
you
pull out a
can
mini
take
bottle of
tribal
wine or
Labour
something.
for that.
There is
I think
nothing,
you can
mate.
actually pull the country together,
I'm gonna
and that would be a
have to
real
interrupt.
moment for us.
I'm going to have to, because I'm...
Yeah, of course, that was a bit long. Apologies.
Cayman, did he convince you? Yes or no?
Hold on.
I hope you don't answer the questions how you answer the questions, and I hope you never answered them the way that you did when you were a solicitor, because you don't seem to answer the question.
Okay. I'm gonna...
Oh, well, he's right, he doesn't.
Go on, Cayman.
Okay, well, I'm going to need a
Show me
speedy
a politician
answer
that does
I
answer a
have
question.
Kieran from
Really?
Guildford. You've got
We've
under
got
the line.
Kieran
Where
from
are you?
Guildford
Please
now.
go ahead.
Good evening.
Yeah. Good
Young
evening.
people
Oh my
in this
God.
country have grown up knowing nothing but conservative austerity and political chaos. We didn't have the chance to vote for Brexit in 2016 because we were too young, and now we're inheriting that economy.
Cheers,
we're graduating
Militant.
from university, are less likely to own a home than our parents, all while paying a
I
higher
think you
effective
all
tax
need
rate
to
because of
put the
student
like
loans that wasn't
button
a thing
on
generations ago. How can
to
you
cheer
convince
John
us
up.
that you are truly going
So
to be
click
different
it
and
now.
actually effective at making change, not just in terms of the economy, but also to improve our trust in political institutions?
I need a quick answer, please. I need a quick answer, please.
First, by
And someone
absolutely being
unclick the
clear that
like
I
button.
understand
I see
the
that.
challenges that you are setting
Oh,
out.
they're such a
And that's
wag.
because I do
They're
something
so full
which
of
I
fun,
think is
our audience.
underrated in politics and leadership,
I know.
which is to
Oh,
listen,
now it's gone up.
to listen
Thank you.
to the challenges that people are talking to people. I go around the country the whole time. The most important thing I say
Cheers.
to everybody I meet, please tell me the change you want if we're able to come into government, and I
Well,
will
I want to dig a
mull that over
really
in my
big hole
mind on the train,
and
on the
make
car,
all
on the way back,
650 of
because
you
you
that
have
have
the
been
right
sitting
to
in the
put your
Parliament
fingerprints on what
go
comes
into
down.
the hole.
But just to
right?
address
And
Hey,
only
stop.
one of you is allowed
we
to
need
come back
good
out.
quality, high-skilled jobs for the future for our young people. That's why I was so impressed in, when I saw those apprentices here in Hull who had skilled jobs that they were proud of doing with the
hold on.
future to them. We need
I
to
feel
make
it
sure we're
coming.
building enough houses so that young people can get on the
We
housing
started
ladder.
talking
At the
about
moment, the
skilled
idea that
people.
You have
I
to be
I
in
felt
your
it
mid to
coming.
late 30s before you get your own
My
roof
mother
over
was a
your
nurse.
head.
My father
It is
was
a
a.
sign of a broken system, because I know from growing up how important it is
Come on,
to
come on,
have
come on.
your own
Did
home
you have
as
Sky
a
TV?
base camp
Did
for
you have
your
Sky TV?
dreams, for your aspirations, for the security of your family. So we will build those 1.5 million homes. That will only happen if we partner with business, if we get rid of some of the planning
Show
rules
you
that
the
we
line,
make,
Keir.
and if we have a set
No,
of
no,
arrangements
it's-
with mayors and combined authorities,
he's teasing
and
us
get
now.
that building done.
He
Because
really is.
Otherwise, you simply will be in the same position.
Somebody's in his ear going, "Don't say it, Keith. Don't say it."
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Well, we did get one. We got a bingo.
We got one.
Right, what's Beth got to say now? Hey, come on, Beth.
Well, that was Keir Starmer. Next up is the Prime Minister.
No, he's
Rishi
not the
Sunak.
Prime
Don't
Minister.
go anywhere.
I mean, technically, he still is, yeah.
No, technically he isn't.
Mute the advert. Mute the
Te-
advert.
technically he's not the Prime Minister. There are no members of Parliament. Therefore, he can't be Prime Minister. The only member of Parliament that still has a post is the Speaker.
And he's selected, not elected.
Exactly.
Look,
So
it's
there,
Paris.
there is no Prime Minister. So
Yeah,
stop
so-
calling him it.
There's a giant Olympic rings now on the Eiffel Tower. Okay, I'm surprised they've put them up. I'm going to be completely honest with you, considering the fact that the far left, who are probably the biggest threat of cause of political violence, have started to once again cause political violence. They've been rioting in the streets of Paris over the past couple of nights there, haven't they, John?
Mm-hmm. Indeed they have.
Yeah, they have. And we keep getting told our biggest threat to democracy is the far right. And yet I never really see, I mean, if you guys could point me to a slew of far right riots, I would generally like to know. I mean, people will say that January the 6th was one, right? But other than that, point them out to me, because there seem to be groups of far leftists rioting, smashing things up, looting, whenever something doesn't go their way. I mean, they're looting Paris. They use it as an excuse to break into the shops and start looting, because of course they did. I'm just warning you guys, if Keith doesn't win, you will see looting on the streets of the UK. Because the far left seem to seem to not have the cognitive capacity to know how to not throw their toys out of the pram. And honestly, I think they might be the biggest threat to democracy. Just my opinion.
The biggest threat to democracy, mate, is that building called Westminster.
Well, yeah, there is that. There is that.
Yeah, there is that.
Did you say tooting? Robin says.
Tooting what?
I don't know. I just sort of said stuff. I said words. They amalgamate within my brain and then they come out of my mouth. So
I could crush a grape. I could crush a grape.
Into wine and drink it, right, John?
Yeah. I can't get over how stupid people are.
Looting, yes, there will be looting. Sorry. I said
Looting and tooting.
Looting.
There'll be looting. Citizen Smith, Wolfie.
Yes, there will be looting.
Come the glorious day, you will be first.
And remember,
the wall.
That's what you need to say to all of the communists. Just remind them that if they actually win, if they get what they want, they will be the first ones against the wall. That's always what happens, because they were able to make a difference enough for the communists to take power. You can't have those people about in case they uprise against you, because they were effective. So they take them out first. Just saying.
Indeed. Right, people, just in case you're just joining us, we are awaiting the glorious ex-Prime Minister of Great Britain, Rishi Sunak. Yeah. So he will now be taking to the stage and giving us 20 minutes of push.
Let's do it. We got this. We got this.
Prime Minister, thank you so much for joining us tonight in Grimsby.
No, ex-Prime Minister. He's not the Prime Minister.
You can't keep saying that. I
can.
Isn't it? A poll out this week put the Conservatives on 18
Interim
points,
Prime Minister, yes.
And net with Nigel Farage's reform. And your polling is now
he's still
worse
doing
than
all
in
of
the dying days of
the jobs
Liz
of a
Truss
Prime
government.
Minister.
And it shouldn't be.
So wrong?
Well, I've got to say, Beth, it hasn't been an easy 18 months in general. So what I've done, though, is just keep going to try and...
Since I stabbed Liz Truss in the back.
And formed an effective coup because I was too much of a baby for losing to
her. Yeah. In the country about our plans for the future, because I know we've been through a tough time. Of course we have, and I'm sure we'll
because of
talk
you.
about it. It's been tough for all of you here tonight.
If you shut your eyes, it does sound like
we've got a
out of the in-betweeners.
To make a difference to people, to cut their taxes, to bring down
I think
immigration.
there's better things you could be doing than watching me trying to get off a Charlotte.
Matter. I think those are things that people want, and so I'm going to keep fighting hard till the last day of this election.
PM, Liz Truss never
Do you honestly think
that
he would be able to fight his way out of a cardboard box?
Your fateful decision to skip part of those D-Day commemorations could prove as terminal for you?
Well, the last thing that I wanted to do was cause
but I had an
anyone,
interview with
ITV, any hurt or upset. It was a mistake, and that's why I apologised unreservedly for that. And
yeah, but you're a liar.
I'm deeply sad to have caused people hurt and upset by that.
You don't give a
I was privileged to participate in all the commemoration events that I did, to speak to many veterans.
You were privileged because you're no longer the Prime Minister, remember?
But also make sure that I can demonstrate to them how committed I am to making this the best country in the world to be a veteran through all the things that we are doing in government.
And when you realised the mistake and you apologised, how were you feeling?
Like shit.
Did you feel really awful?
I felt like shit because I've been found out.
Incredibly sad to have caused people.
I believe I have just changed the title of the show on the fly.
To what? I hope people can find it in their hearts to forgive me.
It didn't work.
I realised I made a mistake.
Don't try and change it.
I've asked for forgiveness
while it's streaming.
I have been speaking to veterans about the things that we are
doing. Why do you want to change it?
So that it can come up in search.
Because we owe them an enormous debt of gratitude, and that's why I've made sure it's a priority to have a minister around the cabinet table.
Well, if you'd been so concerned, you would have provided me with a title as well as a thumbnail.
Prime Minister, let's go on to the Tory record. You say that
Tories
you're
have a record.
the one who can deliver stability after all the turmoil, but for many voters, the Conservatives are the turmoil. In this Parliament, we've had 3 Prime Ministers, 5 Chancellors, 5 Home Secretaries, 6 Health Secretaries. How do we know that if you won the general election, you'd still be Prime Minister in a year's time?
He's not going to win the general election.
He's not going to win, and he knows that.
And he won't be Prime Minister in a year's time.
I can appreciate people's frustrations. Of course, we haven't got everything right. I don't think any
can't
government
believe
does, and I know it's been
that
very
the party
difficult
actually
for many
allowed
people.
him to move forward as the head of the party during this
as hard
campaign.
as I can to deliver the stability that I said I would. And I've had this job for 18 months, and I think particularly on the economy, as I'm sure
I've had this job for 18 months because I formed and executed a coup.
Wages are rising, and that's why we're having this election now, to talk about the future. And yes, I've got a track record over the past 18 months, which I'm sure
Of
we'll
being a
talk about,
backstabbing
but also I want to
arsehole.
build on that and continue the progress we've made, whether it's cutting people's taxes, bringing down migration, or indeed protecting people's pensions. These are all things that now we're in a position to make more progress on.
I'd like to come on to that, but many people do view Liz Truss's brief period in office as the symbol of that Tory chaos. Has her legacy cast a long shadow for you?
Well, I think if people are thinking about that, they can think about what I did. And you and I spent some time that summer. You interviewed me. I did an event like this at the time because I disagreed.
You shafted Liz well and truly,
yes,
without any lube.
Easy for people to
yes,
hear
Beth,
what I
you and
had
I
to
spent
say,
some
but I
time
believed very
together,
deeply then,
didn't we, in that
what
summer?
I was saying. And I went around the country then talking about it, doing events like this. We did one similarly together as well, and you interviewed me. And that's who I am as a person.
Oh my God, what is this, the Beth Rigby Appreciation Society?
It was difficult for me, and I was behind. I was talking about what I believe was right for our country, and that's who I am as a person. And I was right about that.
This
and
guy
that's
makes
why
me
people
sick.
can trust me now when it comes to what I say about
Does
the
this make
economy.
my eye look big?
Let's get on to your pledges. Let's get on to you now. In January 2023, you made the British
Take a
people 5
forensic look at
promises.
the
You said,
Prime
no
Minister,
tricks,
John.
no ambiguity.
I am taking a forensic look at you, Sunak, and I'm not finding anything that makes me feel happy.
5 promises. Let's talk about the promises. Promises 1 and 2, halving inflation, growing the economy. You've done that.
Well, the most important priority was the first one, because when I got this job, inflation was at 11%. And
11%?
I think everyone knows the last few years have been difficult, the impact that was having on all your bills.
That's
Every
your
week,
fault.
You were seeing the
What's the inflation rate? What's the inflation rate in Argentina, Ben? What's the inflation rate in Argentina, Ben?
Far higher.
Go on. Have a guess, Ben. Have a guess.
Is it like 1,000%?
No, not yet. Nowhere near that, mate.
The result of a lot of hard work.
290%.
My God, you are blowing my ears off with how loud you are.
Sorry, 290%.
Yes, inflation is, of course. I know things are not easy. Of course I know that. They've been difficult for a while for all sorts of reasons. But what I was absolutely set about doing was making things that little bit easier.
Well, look, he's definitely closeted, isn't he?
And it was precisely because
he's what?
He's
definitely closeted, isn't he?
Inflation down, and I'm pleased that we're able to do that.
Halving inflation, economy growing, tick.
I'm just
Promise
saying,
number
there's
3,
nothing wrong with
reducing
that.
national debt. It's gone up since you made the pledge, hasn't it? It has.
Yes, but it was always meant to come down over time, and that was always the time. I know, but that.
What was it when you made the pledge?
But we measure our debt according to an independent body
But
measures
it's
our
higher
debt.
now than it was when you made the pledge, right? It's
Yes,
high.
it was always forecast to be high. Let me be clear, Beth. I was never saying it would come down overnight. I was very
You're not
clear at
going to
the
last
time.
here. We're fading quick, actually. We're fading
And
quick.
going into an election, I'm just making the point that you failed on that pledge as you go to the polls.
No, because when I made the pledge, I was very clear that we measure our debt reduction according to an independent
No
body.
tricks, no ambiguity.
No tricks, no ambiguity. None at all, right? We have an independent...
They're politicians. There's nothing but fucking tricks and ambiguity.
I'm happy to explain. So we measure our debt reduction independently. It's actually not me that does it. It's an independent body called the OBR. We set out the fiscal rules to bring debt down over 5 years, and that's how they measure it. And they have confirmed at every budget, and you can go and look at it online, that we are meeting those fiscal rules. And when I made the announcement, I think you were there at the press conference when I did, I actually was asked the question, and I explained then, they said, how are you measuring this? And I said, we're measuring it according to the independent body which will adjudicate our rules. And
when a government talks about an independent body, there's nothing independent about it.
That's pledge 4. When you made the promise, the list was at 7.21 million. It's now at 7.54 million.
I don't blame you,
cases. It's gone up.
Shalini. I would do the dishes too.
Yes, I'm very good.
He would drink the last drops of alcohol that had dropped off the dishes at this point.
And that was...
Got to go and ice the gingerbread.
I was keen to do, and it has proved more difficult, and it's been proved more difficult for a number of reasons. Obviously, recovering from the pandemic is not easy, but we are now making progress. And actually, the number that you gave
Jesus
is
Christ!
Just over 200,000 lower than it was a few months ago, because now...
It's gone up from when you made the pledge.
Yes, it has. It has. I'm being very clear about that, but now it's
No,
coming down.
Prime Minister, it's gone up from when you made the pledge.
We've resolved the industrial action.
So hammer him on it. Come on, woman.
But you can't, because he's admitting it. There's nothing she can say. She keeps saying it, but he's already admitted that, yeah, it has gone up. But now it's coming down. So he's right here, not her.
Time for let's not dwell on this. But PM, the point is that when you made the pledge, there were several.
Yeah, we get the fucking. Now she's fucking just repeating herself.
On strikes, nurses had announced strikes, junior doctors.
She definitely is, Paul. Yeah, put Paul's comment up. Put Paul's comment
up. Let's move on.
But having resolved all of the industrial action except the junior doctors, what you're now seeing is that the numbers are coming down. And we are making progress.
Junior doctors.
I might have not done brilliantly at maths at school, but I know that 7.2, 1 million, 7.5, it's going up. Let's move on. Let's move on. Here.
I thought she worked for Sky. I didn't realise she worked for the Sun.
Your promise was stopping the small boats. Boat crossings are going up, aren't they?
Yes, they were down last year by a third. They're down over the last 12 months by a little less than that. This year, what we've seen is one particular country, Vietnam, accounting for the majority of the increase. Actually, the plans that we've put in place last year show that it is possible to make a difference to this problem. Which, by the way, before I got this job, everybody said was impossible. Everybody said it was impossible to get the numbers down at all. But we showed last year that was possible. And now we have a clear plan to put a deterrent in place. And that means...
And I will come on to it, but look...
He's just gone full, and I can't say the word on YouTube.
11,200...
Has he gone full? You know what I mean?
Has he gone full Biden? Has he gone full Biden?
Yeah, you have failed to deliver on this pledge. Please acknowledge it.
No, if you look at the sum total of the time that I've been Prime Minister, because you've picked one particular period, if you look at the sum total of the time that I've been Prime Minister, the numbers are down.
The numbers were down on last year. The numbers in 2023 were down on 2022.
It's because of the work that we've done.
Yeah, they are work, Paul.
Well, it's a record year this year. They've gone up by 40%.
But if you look at because these things are cyclical, because what you've seen is one new country, Vietnam, accounting for a lot of the new arrivals.
All right.
And just as we dealt with Albania.
Let's go back.
This is our Vietnam.
Small boat crossings are going up this year. Let's talk about Rwanda.
I'm sorry, but ladies and gentlemen, this is the first I have heard of Vietnam being responsible for the boat crossings.
Fucking you and on me.
How many flights?
I didn't see many Vietnamese coming ashore.
What we've done is already
help us out here! Come on, people!
Ben, you live on the south coast.
I've not seen any Vietnamese coming ashore, John.
Get along to Dover and see if there's any Vietnamese hanging about the streets.
I don't need to get on to Dover. I've got 12 hotels full of migrants on the seafront that all came on the boat.
And many of them Vietnamese?
None of them!
We need to have somewhere safe to remove them, and that's how we will stop the boats. And that's what Rwanda is about.
Oh, God.
Can I just ask you one thing? If you were so confident about getting these flights off in July...
I tell you what, though, right? I tell you what, Ben.
Stopping the boats.
I'll give Sunak kudos here, right? I'll give him kudos in that he's not humming and hawing like Starmer. He's just fucking hammering everything out. He's got everything off pat and ready to go.
We talked about bringing inflation down and getting the economy growing.
Part of the course,
that's true. Now to cut people's taxes, and for me, with that economic foundation established, it was the right moment to have an election to then discuss the future of our country. And this election is about the future.
Oh, you can ask anything you like, Shalini. You're back.
Elections have consequences.
Do you think that he is purposely trying to throw this election?
Doesn't agree with that plan.
Okay.
I think
I do.
Tell you what he would
see, since the Tories got rid of Boris, they've been purposely trying to lose.
That needs to be dealt with, and I'm the one that's
you could be right.
I would like to talk to you about a bigger issue that people are concerned about, which is legal migration. For many years, people were frustrated.
I don't think people are
going up.
No, Beth, read the room. Nobody's concerned about legal migration.
The EU referendum, one of the main reasons for Brexit. That's right, isn't it?
Immigration is too high.
No, one of the reasons people voted for Brexit was to take back control of our borders, right? Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Yes. Okay.
But wasn't Rishi a Remainer?
Look at the record. Because what was the total net migration figure into the UK in the past 3 years?
You'll have it there, so...
But the audience, do you want me to tell them? Because they won't.
I don't have the number at the top of my head for the past 3 years.
It's 1.9 million people in the last 3 years. What was the total net migration figure in the last 3 years running up to the 2016 referendum?
Why do you think
when
we can't get doctors and dentist
appointments? Do you
it's
know it?
unsustainable.
It was 836,000 people.
Still a lot of people.
And I'm sure many people in this room would have voted for Brexit. 70% of people in Grimsby voted for Brexit. How do you think they feel about that when they hear that net migration into this country has more than doubled in the last 3 years from before we left the European Union?
Oh my God, I can't stand her.
It's too high.
I'm not sure
anybody
anybody
and I'm
can
sure people
stand
feel
her.
frustrated
But
and angry about it.
You were the original Brexiteer, weren't you?
was it?
Well, you were,
Hold on a minute.
Yes, I did support
Why didn't Starmer get asked that question?
And I believe that was the right decision for our country.
Frustrated, cynical,
Absolutely. I just said
Starmer didn't get
people
this
feel
question
frustrated
because he
about
wasn't
that.
in
And
government
again,
whilst presiding
the numbers are too
presiding.
high.
Okay.
What I can tell
Well,
you is what I've done.
it doesn't matter
And that's last year.
whether he was in government or not. What's he going to do? Because he's not going to fucking slow down legal migration.
But what I can tell you is...
He's not going to do that.
I've had this job is already start to bring them down because we've taken action to change things. So last year, the numbers were down by 10% already. And this year, the number of visas that we've issued is down by around a quarter. And the forecasts show that we're on track to halve net migration in just over a year's time. So that shows and hopefully gives people some confidence we're now heading in the right direction. To give you an example of some of the things we've done, we've clamped down on abuse of the social care visa, tightened up the number of dependents that students can bring, and also raised the salary so that you have to earn
I don't think students should be able to bring any dependents.
I don't think so either.
Now, these measures are now starting to have an impact. You've seen that this year, as I said, numbers down by a quarter, forecast to fall by a halve overall for net migration.
So are you making that pledge now? What's your promise to drive net migration down?
Yeah, well, what
a
we
nice
said we'll do is
unbiased
have
statement
actually a
from
migration cap
Shalini.
that's voted on in Parliament. All your members of Parliament will vote every year on the number. I
love it.
Well, that's, I said, the forecast at the moment
Say
is
what you
numbers to
really
halve,
feel.
And then what we want to
Yeah,
do is
don't hold
continue
back,
reducing it
Shalini.
every year.
Don't hold back at all.
The key thing is here is there will be, for the first time, a legal cap on all migration so that we can guarantee that the numbers do continue to come down.
David Cameron, 2010, tens of thousands, reduced net migration. May 2017, Theresa May reduced net migration to tens of thousands. Boris Johnson, 2019, committed to making sure overall numbers come down below the
Boris
net
Johnson
migration
didn't know his arse from his face.
Just over 250,000 people. Why should
But
anyone
people loved him.
believe anything that you say
They
on
loved him.
immigration?
Why should anyone believe
That's
anything
true,
you say
Shalini.
on
That's
any
true.
I can completely understand people's cynicism about this, but what you can add to the end of that list, since I've been in charge, numbers down 10% and visas issued this year down by a quarter.
Okay.
Right, so that's I've had this job for 18 months.
Okay.
Numbers were down last year.
And I
they're
only
down
got this job
considerably
because
at
I
the start
took
of
one
this
of
year, and they will
Starmer's
keep coming
tools
down
and
because of the measures
put
that
it
I've already
into
announced.
this truss's back
in the last 3 years.
after the Conservative Party
Not
voted for her
literally.
over me.
Not literally, people.
Not
You say
literally.
that you will cut taxes. I was at your manifesto launch yesterday. Our economics editor, Ed Conway, calculates that the tax burden on the country
That a wink?
will be higher
She's
now,
Actually,
higher
it might
than
be.
it is now under a future Conservative government, even taking into account your proposed tax cuts. That's right, isn't it?
No, I haven't seen that analysis, and I'm not sure that is right. What we announced yesterday,
Is Ed wrong?
I haven't seen his analysis, so I can't comment on it because I haven't seen it. But what I can tell you is that what our manifesto announced
Don't
is
you know I haven't.
tax cuts for people at every stage of their life, for people in work, for people who are setting up small businesses and self-employed, for those young people who want to buy their first home, for pensioners, and for families. So tax cuts for people at every stage of their lives, because I believe people should keep more of their hard-earned money. That's how you build financial security. And again, that's a choice for people at this election. I believe in cutting people's taxes, now that we're in a position to do so, having restored economic stability.
Can I just have a moment of honesty about this, though? Because today, taxes as a proportion of national income are at 36.5%. They will be at 36.7% of national income by the end of the coming Parliament with all your changes. So I know
Parliament's
that you
already
have
ended.
introduced tax cut, but overall, taxes will still be going up, won't they, under a Conservative government?
Well, the tax burden is too high, and that is a reflection
that wasn't
of the
my
decision.
question. Is it going up
Give them a
in the
chance.
next Parliament? It will go up.
Taxes for people will continue to come down. That's the manifesto that we've announced. I haven't seen Ed's analysis. It's very hard for me to comment on it, Beth. But what I can
Are we
tell
talking
you
about
is
Ed Balls?
The tax cuts that we've announced reduce the tax burden by about 1 percentage point of GDP a year compared to the.
Are we talking about Ed Balls here?
Again, I haven't seen those numbers. I can tell you my numbers,
So
but I can give you.
so hang on, just to be clear, you're saying that taxes as a proportion of national income will come down at the end of the next Parliament under a Conservative government?
The tax cuts that we announced yesterday.
It's just
at the
a yes or
manifesto,
no.
But I don't have a forecast for the economy in 5 years' time. But what I can tell you is stamp duty for first-time
Yeah,
buyers
Beth,
abolished.
that was a stupid
National insurance for
fucking
self-employed
question.
It was,
abolished.
yeah.
Further cuts for national insurance.
Yeah, I mean, hold on, Rishi. Grab your fucking, grab your crystal ball out your ass and see what the magic 8 ball says.
Because I want to keep.
And in the meantime, tell your wife to stop going and harassing children.
Of course, it's high, but that's because I had to take decisions that were difficult as Chancellor after providing the support that we did during the pandemic for the NHS, for furlough, but also for energy bills.
Furlough was one of the worst things
The
ever.
right thing to do for the country is to make sure that we secure our future and pay that back, and that requires difficult decisions.
Isn't the truth that your
Did you just
problem
call
is
him
broken
PM?
promises, and it's deeper
Yeah,
than the
she
last
keeps
couple
calling
of
him
years?
that and
It's
she's wrong.
Brexit too. It's migration.
Why are they applauding her?
It's migration.
Because they
the
agree.
NHS was meant to get better. We were all remember 350 million quid on the side of a bus, don't we? It's levelling up.
I've no
It's
idea,
a
Paul.
catalogue of broken
There might be 2
promises. You
streams
must
on the channel
surely
at the same
see
time tomorrow
why
night.
so many voters think it's time for you and the Conservatives to get your
Maybe.
P45.
Well, I can.
Because
I
you'll
can
have a choice.
absolutely- Of course, I can understand people's frustrations. It's been a very difficult few years. We've been through 2 once-in-a-century shocks, which have had an enormous impact on everyone, on public services, on people's standard of living. Of course it has. When energy bills double, when inflation goes up to 11%, when a pandemic shuts down our economy.
You shut down the economy,
of course
Rishi.
that's taken its toll.
You.
But this election now is about the future, and I do believe that we've turned a corner. And when I appreciate that people want to see positive change. And my only point would be that you don't get any change unless you've got a plan and you're prepared to do bold things. And that's what our manifesto sets out, a way to do that.
Let me just ask you, we'll come to you in a moment. I've got running out of time.
Heckler.
Now, I just want to ask you one more thing. You were once popular, you were dishy Rishi. Do you remember? Can you tell our audience something about you that might make them like you a bit more again?
My
I said
mother
my
was a
wife
nurse.
today.
No, my mother was a
Actually,
pharmacist.
people seem to think I have a very
I sent
kind of
my wife
healthy
today
lifestyle.
to
Oh,
Instead of a
hold on.
gym and this obsession about my fasting.
Sky?
I actually have an appalling diet because I eat an enormous amount of sugar and I'm very unhealthy in that regard, which I was talking to someone today about.
Snap.
They were completely
Well, don't eat
shocked.
sugar.
I'm not sure that's not really something that someone needs to like me more or less, but that's something I was talking to someone today and they're genuinely surprised about the amount of Haribos, Twixes and everything else that I get through, particularly during a campaign. So contrary to popular belief, I don't have that healthier lifestyle or diet.
Okay, a sugar fiend. Prime Minister, thank you so much.
Was that it?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was that.
Also, we're so in touch with the common people that I sent my wife to harass Benn's children today. No idea
What you
why.
just heard there, what
Has anybody got an answer?
Right,
for me?
see, when the other thing stops, you don't need to shout.
Sorry, has anybody thought of an answer? Why the hell was his wife?
Nobody cares.
Yeah, but why was she doing it?
And nobody cares.
I care.
You know why she was doing it. Don't be so fucking obtuse.
I don't know what she was
Of
doing.
course
there.
you do.
What, getting a bunch of 7 and 10-year-olds to vote for her husband?
Virtual signalling, that's all she's doing.
I'm just saying. I mean, they can't even... Was she there, campaigning for Caroline Ansell, our local Conservative
No, she
MP?
was virtue signalling. That's all she was doing.
I'm in touch with the common people. Look, I went to this school in a
Oh.
somewhat deprived area today, and I'm a billionaire. All right, it's question time. Put him back on.
Good evening.
Hi, Ian.
Following Liz Truss's disastrous mini-budget, with its
Didn't he
unfunded
already ask a question?
cuts, mortgages have become much
What?
less affordable.
Didn't he already ask a
particularly
question?
for young people, such as my daughter.
No.
Why has your government
did he?
spoilt their hopes and dreams?
I thought
Yeah.
he
How
asked
do we
Keith
know
a
you won't
question.
do it again?
I thought he did.
Well, Ian, how old?
Maybe. What was I going
How
to
old's
say?
your daughter?
She's 19.
And did you say she has a mortgage or she's looking to buy a home?
She was kind of hoping to buy a home until you put the mortgage rates up and you failed to meet your housing targets, and she is struggling to find a property that she can afford.
Yeah. Well, look, I want everyone to be able to own their own home. It's a really magical thing when you can.
Who wrote the
whether your
question?
daughter
Sky.
and
Sky
everyone
wrote the
else.
question.
And the best way for us to do that
I can
is to
guarantee
get
it.
interest rates down again in the first instance, and that's why I made a priority to bring inflation down.
I don't actually have a
19-year-old
19-year-old
Bank of
daughter.
England to then start cutting
They
interest
just gave
rates.
me the
And as you
question
can
and
see,
said, ask
inflation
it.
is down from 11%
That
back
guy
to
looks
normal.
like a-
So hopefully we're on the right path then, and you will see that reflected in mortgage rates. But actually in our manifesto, there were a couple of things that will help your daughter.
See, at
And
least
hopefully
he's
you can
got
tell
a
her about them,
manifesto
and
to
hopefully she's
refer to.
watching.
Keith
One
hasn't
of
even
them
got
was
one
stamp
out.
duty.
To be fair, it only
what
came
I
out
will do
yesterday.
if we're re-elected is to
Still
abolish
came
stamp
out.
duty for first-time buyers like your daughter, buying homes up to
That's true.
£25,000. And
To be honest, Mr. Sunak, I don't think she was thinking of buying a house that expensive.
no, but it's up to, for everyone, up to that amount. So that's a tax cut that's worth thousands of pounds of deposit that she otherwise wouldn't need to save for. And alongside that, we will also reintroduce a new version of Help to Buy, which allows her to buy a home with just a 5% deposit, because when I talk to people like your daughter, what they say to me is, actually, I will be able to probably just about afford the mortgage, but what's tricky is the time it takes to save up for a deposit. And we saw with the previous version of Help to Buy that it makes a big difference, because it saves a young couple or a young person years in having to save up for that deposit, because the Help to Buy loan steps in to plug the gap and saves
And
people
then
an
you
enormous
end
amount
up
of money.
paying
So
a
Help
load
to Buy,
more on the back
together
end.
with
But
a
there you
stamp
go.
duty abolition for first-time buyers, essentially, will help young people like your daughter, because I believe in a society where everyone can own their home, and if we're elected, we can cut taxes and build the home, so that's possible.
OK. Our next question is from Hamza, who works in the NHS. He's from Hersham. Hamza, there you go.
Good evening, Prime Minister. As a proud member of
Ex-
staff in the
Prime
NHS
Minister.
and a patient, I've seen firsthand the chronic effects of underfunding and staff shortages, especially post-Brexit.
Stop.
Recruitment and retention is
Recruiting
very difficult,
curators
and staff are continuously
and
burnt out with waiting
diversity
lists seeming to
managers.
never end. And
To
I've
begin with.
personally experienced being left on a stretcher
one.
for 8 hours in my local A&E department while in pain, just in the
I
corridor.
was left on the floor
Going
and had
forward,
to have an
how can
emergency
you
appendix
convince
removal.
me
What's
that
your
you'll
point?
restore our NHS to an institution that we can be proud of?
Yeah.
Paul doesn't like me. Doesn't like me.
I don't fucking blame him.
Thanks, Hamza, first of all, for what you do and all your colleagues do in our incredible NHS, and I'm very sorry to hear about your experience. I think the first thing to say to you is I come from an NHS family.
Oh.
So, like you, like my parents, they worked
See
in
ya.
the NHS.
See ya.
My dad was a GP, my mum was a pharmacist.
He
and
said
they
it!
dedicated their lives to helping people. And I was surrounded by that growing up. And this is what they instilled in me, was an importance of how we can continue to help people. And I work for
Thank
my
you,
mum
Paul.
doing exactly that.
He
So
got
that's
there.
The first thing you need to know about me when it comes to the NHS. And that's why we've put record funding into it. But your point is the right one. What we have not done for not just years, but for decades, is train enough staff and then be reliant on having to bring people here from abroad. And in the NHS's 75
We've
year
got one
history,
more
it
to
has
do,
never,
Sky
ever had a
TV.
long-term
If we
workforce
get
plan.
Sky TV,
But for
we got the
first
full
time,
house.
It does.
Yeah, if we
Because
get
I
Sky
thought that was the
TV,
right
we've got
thing
the
to
full house.
prioritise. And we announced it together. It was the NHS's plan that the government has fully backed. And I said to them, look, this is the right thing to do, because we need to
I
train
will
more
show the people
doctors,
the wheel of
nurses,
luck.
dentists, physiotherapists, everything.
And as you can see,
today,
we've scored
so that
off
in
4
years
of
to come,
those
the NHS will
items.
have
We
the
just
staff
have one
that it
left.
needs
There's
to
only
ease some of the
4 on there.
pressures, reduce
Yeah,
reliance
that's what I'm saying, but
on
we
staff
we
from
scored off
overseas
4 of
and
them,
make sure
so...
it's a fantastic
We scored
plan
off 3 of
for
them.
everybody.
Yeah, sorry,
And look,
3 of them, yeah.
candidly,
So we're
the
just
best one in the
waiting
world,
on...
you know, I won't be here in the 14 years that it takes to train a consultant that we're paying for today. But
No,
I thought
you
it was the
certainly
right
won't.
thing to do to strengthen
We're
our
waiting
NHS for the
for
long
we
term,
didn't
because
have
people
Sky.
like you are brilliant. We want to make sure we train as many of you as possible, so
There
we
we
have lots
go.
of colleagues, ease the burden.
That's all
and
we're
give
waiting
everyone the
on.
care that they need.
We didn't have
But
Sky.
just coming back on that, if you
We
look
get that, we got the full
post-Brexit,
house.
when we lost a huge majority of the staff that we had in our NHS, there wasn't a plan
Well,
to
that was
fill those
careless.
gaps and led to chronic shortages.
How did you lose
then
them?
we had the COVID pandemic, which this country was not prepared for, and I worked through and saw the amount of people that were affected, burnt out. I had a close family member.
Can I just say, How were we not prepared for it when Sweden, who did fuck all?
Fuck all.
Fuck all.
Fuck all.
They just did fine.
Get back as soon as possible, not thinking that this was still an ongoing pandemic. Boris was too late bringing in the lockdown rules. You were really quick to open up lockdown again, which led to another spike in COVID.
Oh, he's a lockdown
This guy's a
aficionado.
fucking... I don't like this guy.
He's not talking scientific reality. He's talking bollocks.
Yeah, I don't like him.
He is. He's talking bollocks. But
He's annoying me.
yeah, he's just talking bollocks.
Is the sound okay? Can you hear an echo? No.
No, I can't hear an echo.
With greatest respect, that's not what we're doing. We're investing record sums into it. We're training more doctors and nurses than we ever have, and there are more doctors and nurses in the NHS today than it's also had. But we also need to do things differently. And it's whether it's
really,
things, and you'll know this from, and what's your particular specialty?
So I'm a physiologist in cardiology.
And you're a cardiology, right? So you'll know that we're doing things like elective surgical hubs, virtual wards, community diagnostic centres, of which there's one right here in Grimsby. And those are all new innovations that you and your colleagues have pioneered, that we have supported, that will actually mean that people can get the care they need quicker and secure the NHS for the long term.
We're going to take from the hospitals to the hubs to staff them, because there's shortages of the staff already. We're short of radiographers, all the trades, all the different specialities throughout the hospitals. We're short of staff. So building another building...
Get some of those boat people in.
...is not
Well,
going
either
to
that,
cure
or,
the problem.
sack some of the unnecessary people and hire more frontliners.
Just to answer that. So, man, we are recruiting and training more doctors, nurses than we ever have in our history, and there are more today, and I know we need more.
Radiographers, there's a job AI could do.
I'm gonna wrap this.
You sack one diversity hire or diversity manager, you can hire 3 to 4 nurses.
Disagree with you, actually,
because their salaries are ridiculous. They're like £120,000.
Is that we can improve care for people by doing
sack
things
the
outside of
diversity
hospital.
manager.
And the community diagnostic centre, one of which is here, is a great example of that.
The big problem here is we're making
example of that is pharmacy.
We're making
because I think that you should be able to go and see your pharmacist to get treatment.
we're making the NHS an election issue when it's not. When it's not an election issue because it's all handled locally. It's all handled locally. It's all devolved.
Christina from London,
Christina from London.
There are people who grow up in communities like mine that are concerned about policing. Statistics show that systemic racism, sexism and misogyny are still prevalent in UK policing. Do you accept that these issues are in fact systemic? And what are your plans to improve relations and build trust between
Why
the
is she
police and our
culturally appropriating Scandinavian hair braids?
I cannot answer that question, John.
Okay.
Misogyny, racism, discrimination has absolutely no place in our society, but particularly when it comes to the
agree
police,
with that.
because they're people that we look to protect us and trust, and all the things that we've seen and read about over the past year or two have been really appalling and shocked us to our core, because we thought, hang on, the people that we put our trust in, they're a small minority, and we shouldn't tar the entire police force with the actions of a small minority, but a small minority of people who were behaving in a way that was completely reprehensible.
So you don't accept
and
it's
it's right that those people are held to account. Now, the Met in particular, there are issues, and actually we instituted a report which was done, which now the new Met Police Commissioner is working through to improve relations and make sure the Met is focused on policing in the right way.
The new Met Commissioner needs to go.
But I also want to make sure that our communities are safe. Safe for you, safe for everyone else, safe for my 2 girls to walk around in, which is why we're putting more police officers on the street.
It's only systemic in that the police actually respond to the data.
Particularly for the most violent
and
crimes,
when
and focusing
the
especially
data
on violence
says
against
a certain
women and
group
girls.
commit
So
more
that's what we're
knife
doing
crime than
on
anyone
policing.
else, on themselves, right, amongst themselves.
Today are at a record high.
And the sensible
if
thing
we're
to do is
elected,
stop
then
and
we'll
search
put
those
8,000
people.
more police officers
I mean, you
on
say
the
this
street,
as an
warranted
ex-police
officers,
officer.
which one extra one for every neighbourhood, because I think to that lady's point, that neighbourhood policing is really important, and having police officers who know their communities well.
Well, neighbourhood policing's gone. I haven't seen a cop walk the street for years.
What's so important is accepting that it is a systemic issue. First,
not.
you accept that, and then you can plan to change
not a
things so
systemic
that these
issue.
things don't happen again.
I'm
It's not
saying
just
it
bad
is.
apples
This
if
is
it happens over
I'm
and over
using
again.
the buzzword she has used.
In the Met
This
in
is
particular,
communist
as I
speak.
said, there
This
are a
isn't.
range of issues. We instituted
I
a
know.
report to look into them,
I
and the new
thought-
Met Police Commissioner is
What
there.
planet is
and
she
it's
from
reforming
anyway?
the Met
Where
so
do the
that it can
predators
actually
come
learn
from?
the
Oh my
mistakes of the past and let's make
I
sure
am
that these
not.
things don't happen
I'm
again.
not going
Right,
there.
thank you. Our next question comes from Amy from Leeds. There she is, please, Amy.
Hi, Prime Minister.
Hi.
My name's Amy. I'm a former Conservative
I got a
Party
touch of the
chair
old
and a
COVID,
lifelong True
John.
Blue. But in this election, I
Amy's
find
a
myself
bit
an
fat.
undecided voter. Actions taken by this government actually make me feel ashamed. You left David Cameron at the D-Day celebrations to represent our country. To me, this
He
feels
is our
like a
Foreign
deliberate
Secretary.
action, as you know that your ratings
Somehow.
in the polls are so low. How do
And
you
he-
plan to rebuild the public trust
No, he
in
can't be,
you, or is
he's
it
not an
already
MP anymore.
irreparable?
Lord Cameron
Well,
of
Amy,
Chipping
thank
Norton.
you.
Alleged.
Fucker of pigs.
Well, thank you for all your previous volunteering and service to the party.
£7.
And when it comes to D-Day, as I said,
I ain't taking
absolutely
no
did not
test,
mean
baby.
to cause any offence or hurt. That was not my intention. I made a mistake, and I unreservedly apologise
I know,
for it.
Chris,
and
it's
all I can do
absolutely-
is ask
it's
for people's
horrifying.
forgiveness.
It is
And when
horrifying
comes
what is
to
going on.
trust in my commitment to our veterans
You know-
community and the pride that I have in what they've done for our country, what I would say to people is you can look at the things that we've done. There is a veterans minister sitting around the cabinet table for the first time with more funding than we've ever had, focused on supporting veterans with their mental health, physical health, employment opportunities, housing, because it's something I care deeply about. But
It
more
is modern
generally, this
UK,
election,
sadly.
as you said, you're undecided. This election is about the future and the future that
See,
you
the
want
problem
for
is
our country.
that
And I believe
despite
that
the fact we
manifesto
don't
we put out
have
yesterday
guns
contains
on
a
our
very
street
clear
as
plan, a
much
bold
as,
set of actions
say, the
that
United
will deliver a
States.
more secure future for you and
It
everybody.
is the people
and that starts with cutting
holding the
everyone's
weapons
taxes,
that
because I
take the
believe
action.
people should keep more of their
And
hard-earned
therefore,
money. It means bringing
it doesn't
migration
matter.
down. It
They
means a
can't
more
get a gun,
sensible
they'll get a
approach to
knife.
net zero that
And the action will
prioritises our
continue
energy
to be
security
taken.
and your family
And
bills.
that's what we're
And it
seeing
means
more and more
protecting
and more here in
pensioners,
Britain.
because I think if you've worked hard all your
And it's
life, you
true.
deserve dignity in retirement. So those are some of the things I talked about yesterday. That's a choice at this election. It's an important moment for our country, but given the opportunity, I can deliver a secure future for you and everyone else.
And I would,
I'm not
yeah,
so
thank you
sure
much.
you
I
can.
would usually agree. I just think that, and I'll be very honest here, that picture of the Queen, our late
Yeah,
Queen,
of
who
course the criminals
was
have
left
guns,
to bury
Shalini.
her husband on her own during COVID, following guidance that we all followed, and knowing what was happening in Downing Street, and you were part of that, and you had a fixed penalty notice, and you've apologised, and I understand all of that. That's where the trust broke down, and I just
No,
think
the
we have
problem
long
was
memories in this
forcing the
country
Queen to do
as a
that.
public,
That
and
was the problem.
You really will have to
Okay?
go some, and I appreciate the
That's
apology
what-
tonight. Thank you very much.
And
But
I'm not
you have to realise
satisfied
that there is a long
that
way to
people
go
are still
to
not
really
realising
rebuild
that.
Yeah, no,
Despite all of the evidence now available.
Those rules were difficult for everyone to follow, and the government should absolutely have gone above and beyond
Unnecessary.
in following them. And I deeply
I'm sorry,
regret what
and
happened.
I will stop
apologise for
talking about it now,
at the
but-
time, and it was an extraordinarily difficult time for our country, and I know that, and I know
Mainly
that
due
people
to
fall
government
under that, and all I can
disproportionate
say is, look,
response.
trust takes time to rebuild.
People
through
know
actions,
if the
and whether
people
it was
implementing the
what we did during
response
COVID
aren't
to
following
support the
their own
NHS, roll out the
implementation, they know
vaccines,
their
support people's
implementation
jobs,
is a load
what
of
we've
old
done, what I've
tosh.
done over the past
I'm
18
sorry,
months
but
to
they
deliver
do.
on restoring economic stability.
That should be
and
the real
start making
question that
progress on
nobody is
bringing
asking
migration
still.
down. That's how you earn trust, through your actions, making progress on the things that matter to people, and that's what I plan to talk to people about through the rest of this campaign. And yesterday's manifesto sets out a direction of travel for the future.
This is why they would never have somebody like me in their audience.
Very simply, no. Why not? And the reason for that, and I'm glad you asked the question, right? The reason for that is a vote for reform ultimately is a vote to put Keir Starmer into number 10. So if you're someone who cares about
I agree
cutting
with that.
taxes,
You vote for reform, it's a vote for Labour.
if you're
It's
someone who
that
cares
simple.
about cutting taxes, protecting pensions, a sensible approach to net zero that
Unfortunately,
prioritises
that's our
security in your
system. That's
bills,
the way it works.
or indeed bringing migration
You've
down,
got
both
two
illegal
options.
migration and stopping the boats, I'm the person that is going to deliver that for you, not Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer doesn't have a
You've got two
plan
options.
to tackle illegal migration. Right? Keir Starmer is not going to cut your taxes. Keir Starmer is going to reverse all the reforms I made to getting us to net zero in a way that saves you money, and that's going to put up everyone's bills. So that's the choice, right? And Keir Starmer is certainly not matching the triple lock plus, which is going to protect pensioners, and instead there's going to be a retirement tax for every pensioner in our country. So that's a choice for you and for everyone else.
Have we ever had the situation where people shut hospitals because people are sick?
And a vote for anyone who's not a Conservative is just a
Well, I
vote
mean,
for
that's
Keir Starmer
the whole
in
reason a hospital
Liam, I've
exists.
got another question. It's from
You would have
William.
thought so.
Where is he? He's a student.
Where's
from
William?
Grimsby.
Come on.
There
Where's
he is.
William?
Where's
Hi,
Willie?
Prime Minister.
Fucking
Given the
hell.
recent policy announcements regarding national service for younger people, and you alluded to the quadruple lock on state pensions, as well as your record and the Conservatives' record in government, why would a young person today believe the Conservative Party has their best interests at heart?
Because they want to make you slaves.
So, William, actually on national service,
William,
I have
he's
two
gonna
young
make you a
girls. I'm incredibly
slave.
excited for them to do it, because I think it'll be transformative.
Oh,
for our country.
God.
I really do, because it provides
Bollocks!
skills and opportunities for young people that will set them up for the rest of their lives, foster a culture of service in our society, bring people closer together, and contribute to our long-term resilience and security. And actually, everywhere I've been, people have been really positively talking to me about it, and actually parents, more than anyone else, excited about what it will do for their kids. But more broadly, so that's just one thing, right?
No,
a couple of days after
can't
that,
interrupt.
we announced
Shut
another
up.
big policy where I want to provide opportunities for young people, you and everyone else, which is why we're going to curb the investment into rip-off degrees, which let young people down, and take that money and use it to fund 100,000 high-quality apprenticeships, which actually can provide an enormous opportunity for people. And the answer to the question, I think Ian's first question, wasn't it, Ian? There you are, Ian's daughter, with buying a house. Because when I talk to young people, that's the thing, they want a great job, they want to be able to buy
My
their own
name's not
home.
Ian, it's
and
Jeff.
What we announced yesterday in the manifesto a couple of days ago is going to make a big difference, because it's going to mean that it's much easier for young people to get on the housing ladder and buy their first home. So whether it's an amazing apprenticeship, whether it's national service, whether it's buying your own home, actually what you're seeing are bold ideas that will make a big difference and spread opportunity around.
Just say no. Are you going to criminalise them? Are you going to set a generation of young people up with criminal records for just saying no?
No,
we're going to do it to their parents.
Of course that's not the thing. And actually what we said we would do is set up a royal commission, which we haven't had in this country for actually about 25 years, and they're set up independently to look at big things like this. And there are lots of models from across Europe that you can look at to make sure that we have an appropriate mix of incentives and sanctions, and that's how other countries do it. And actually, if you talk to other countries around Europe, and when you talk to them, actually the percentage of young people that recommend it and love it is extremely high, and they think it's an incredibly fulfilling apprenticeship.
That's just not the case.
I'd really like to get a final question. William, very quickly, but I've got 2 minutes.
The national service policy, it might be popular amongst parents, as you said. The quadruple lock on pensions might be popular amongst parents and older generations, but it's not popular amongst younger people. Why are you moving your party so far away from younger voters when it's the key demographic that will be our future?
But it's not the key demographic that will put people into power. It's not. It just isn't.
OK, I'm going to go to the last question.
Can I answer the question?
Well, I can't get the... Yeah, go on.
So William, look, I think national service is transformational and positive for young people. I think cutting stamp duty and help to buy to get young people their first home is really positive for young people.
Millions of people into a year's worth of free work is brilliant for me,
and when
is
young
what he's
people
actually
getting into
saying.
work, getting a tax cut so they can keep more of their hard-earned money is really positive for young people. And actually, I don't view society
I'd like
as an
me
us
some of that
versus
millionaire
them,
shortbread,
because every
John.
young person also has a grandparent, and I think
would,
they want their
mate.
grandparents to be
I
looked
do like
after when they
shortbread.
retire, and that's
I'm a
why I
sucker
think
for
it's right to do the triple
shortbread and a
lock plus
coffee.
too, and I think you agree with that as well.
Dip the shortbread in the coffee. Oh, yeah.
You happy with that, William?
Yeah, but I think we can do both at the same time.
And that's the point, we are doing both. We're cutting taxes for young people buying their first home, creating new apprenticeships.
Rishi
and
only
the
likes
triple lock plus to
billionaire
protect
shortbread,
pensioners
says
who have
Vaughan.
worked hard all their lives to be grandparents
of
to those
course.
young people. We are doing those things, and as I said when I was sitting there, we can cut taxes for people at every
Robin
stage
asked, should
of
we
their
put the
life. That's
18-year-olds
type of
on the
country
beaches
I
to
want
fight the
build.
boats off?
OK. Okay, I'm afraid we
Yeah,
are
too
out
right, Shalini,
of
too right.
time.
Oh,
Prime
gosh.
Minister, thank you so much for joining us here in Grimsby tonight. Thank you.
Oh gosh. Gosh. Oh gosh. Right, kill it.
Well, you've heard tonight
That's enough
from
of
the
them.
Prime Minister Rishi
That's enough of
Sunak
them.
and
Right, that's enough of them. It was a load of old waffle. It was, once again, a load of old waffle. But you know what? We are here to do our duty. And our duty is to mock these people and rip the pish out of them. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a stark reality, a stark truth. It doesn't matter which one of these two morons you put into power. Not going to get better for you. It's really not. And I'm talking to, people like me. It's not going to get better for you. These people are clowns. They are putting on a show. They are telling you what you want to hear so that you go and tick the little box with their name on or their candidate's name on. And when they actually get into the seat of power, as Rishi can demonstrate and did demonstrate this evening, they don't actually do what they say they were going to do. Who remembers the manifesto to which this government was actually elected? I say this government, Boris Johnson's government was actually elected, because guess what? He didn't do any of that shit. Didn't. So
he didn't.
You've just got to remember, these people, they care about, as we always say here on this show, feathering their own nest. And John?
And controlling the people.
There we go. You got there in the end, John.
I'm no Joe Biden. I'm getting there, but I'm no Joe Biden yet.
I was about to ask how Corn Pop was, John. I really was. I was wondering, John, how's Corn Pop? You doing well? Doing well, John? Good old Corn Pop. Anyway.
Not yet.
I think that just for them having to endure that and them sticking with us this evening, I'd like to thank you all for doing so.
Thank you.
We should give them the all-in outro, I think, if you could.
I could give them Ruthless.
Give them that then. Just give them that. Give them something. Give them something to lift their spirits.
I've got to throw them a bone. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you got to throw them a bone.
I will throw you a bone. Ben, say your bit. Say your bit, mate.
Before I do, I'd like to just quickly answer Emma Watts in the chat there. She asks, "Are you okay, John?" No, he's sober.
Yeah, it's been a fucking awful 2 hours.
So,
oh god, I've had to listen to Sir Keith Starmer spout shite.
No, Shalini, we have to. I'm apologising in advance, but we have to stay the course. Okay, we have to stay the course, and that means tomorrow night there is a 7-way debate once again. 7-way. I'm guessing Nigel will be there. Labour hasn't said who will be there, and I know John doesn't wish to cover it. So, because he wishes to go and do Rabbit Hole with Ed, and that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, I do.
So what I will do is I think it starts at 8. So from 8 o'clock I'll jump on my own separate stream.
Well, I might join you for a little bit if you want.
No,
okay, fine.
I don't want, because I don't want to get into the swing of things, and then you have to jump off whilst we're like in the swing of something. So
okay.
We'll give them the choice, right? Do they want to come and watch me with them, or do they want to go and watch Rabbit Hole? They're already voting for Rabbit Hole in the chat. So I'll just be lonely. It's fine. Right?
You're used to it. I mean, you broadcast on the Real Review to nobody.
I do, yeah. I do. Or I broadcast on the Real Review to 1,000 people at once. That's happened.
Yeah, okay, once.
Yeah, once.
And you weren't really broadcasting because you were just showing a Disney show, so.
I mean, I was talking. To
well, okay. Yeah, whatever, Ben. Yeah.
I was broadcasting. Look.
Yeah, okay.
Emma says I won't be lonely. Oh, thank you, Emma. There you go.
Good grief.
I don't think a poll is required because.
No, I don't think so either.
No, I don't, because I'll just go live at 8, and then if you want to jump off and go and watch the Rabbit Hole, I will not be offended.
Yeah, the Rabbit Hole won't be on till 9 anyway, so.
No, it won't. And I do think I have to stay the course. I think we have to. We've started something, and we need to see it. So, with that in mind, thank you for watching this one. Thank you for sticking with us. And if you have enjoyed our rather, I would say, cynical take on it all tonight, then please obviously hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course, if you wish to support us further, you don't have to, but if you wish to, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Chasing Dissent. Or you can go to Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/Chasing Dissent, or right here on YouTube. You can become a channel member from just 99p a month, and you can also gift channel members during a live stream. So you can buy a bunch of channel memberships and just gift it to random people in the chat if you'd like. I mean, it's a nice gesture that you can give your fellow talkers, chatters, whatever you want to call them in the chat. But with that in mind, I have lost pretty much every brain cell that I have for this evening. So
I'm out. Yeah, I checked out about what 40 minutes in.
Yeah, but that's because you had no alcohol.
Oh no, that was hard going.
It was hard going,
and I don't like to think of myself as an alcoholic. I don't like to think of myself as an alcoholic.
Emma, I'll be right here on Chasing Dissent. We'll
Boy,
we'll just have 2 shows running at once on the same channel, because you can do that.
Yeah.
So we'll just have 2 shows running at once on the same channel.
You can even flip between them if you want.
Yeah, you can.
In fact, you could even open both on 2 different windows.
You definitely could. You could.
And
do
then
that.
all you need to do is mute one and not the other.
I might do it vertical, you know.
Oh no, don't do it vertical.
I might do it vertical just for shits and giggles.
No, don't. It doesn't help. No, what's the point, right? Because if you do it vertical, right, from what we discussed this morning, you don't get paid for it.
We didn't get paid for this.
Yeah, no, but you don't get paid for it at all, and doing it from a PC doesn't help.
But we just sat here for 2 hours, right?
Well, do it from your phone. If you're doing a vertical, do it from your phone.
Well, the reality of the situation is, boys and girls, that we turned off any kind of monetization for tonight. So we made not one single penny on this 2 hours of entertainment. So, you know, if you want to go and chuck us a 99p a month phone, feel free to do so, because we don't make anything on this shit.
Yeah.
We really don't. We do it for the love of it. We really do.
Excuse me.
Anyway, John. Oh, look, Natalie's turned up right at the end.
Bye. Yeah, there you go.
There you go. There you go. And Natalie will be back. Me and Natalie will be back to regular shows in about 2 weeks' time. She's got some things she's got to do, and then we will be back on track, as they say, back on track, back on the wagon, back on the horse, back on
the horse.
Indeed. Right, John, say goodbye to him, because I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done too. But as always, it's been great for you.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing. Won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. Chance jealous, I can see that they compare. I think everyone's against me, maybe something in the air. Am I paranoid? I swear a void is forming and they're scared. I walk a straight path, not many can say that. I like to play fast, cross me and there's payback. You better pray that I don't see your face at any place that I go. I know you hate that. I've been doing fine, I'm not wasting any more time. I live for the fight and the climb, and I think that the pain that's deep inside is what defines. So I won't give up, I'm gonna make it to the top. I don't care what's in my way, I swear I'm never gonna stop. I could fall flat on my face and I swear I will get back up, cause I don't deserve a thing and the road ahead is tough. They'll try to kick you while you're down, they wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt, they're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing,